tonight. Steve and David Chenault, the brothers in dice rolling, brothers in gaming. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
no
us
problem.
on.
It's good. Yeah, thanks.
This is cool. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. I sort of want to go through like interview all these RPG creators and what makes it tick in the industry and the game and everything else. And just because I figured people like me might want to publish something someday, and I'm working on something, and you guys actually did it, and you work with the man. This is it. I mean, you got the experience, you got the skin in the game, and you made a success. How many people have been doing this for 25 plus years? Not too many, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There were, when we first published, I don't know. Oh my God, because it was in the 3.0 boom period.
Yes, the D20
those, those first 3 Gen Cons, there were hundreds and hundreds of people out there publishing.
Close to 170 publishers in the D20, 147, somewhere around 140 to 170. Yeah, it was
holy crap.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Holy crap. Oh, one of my cavemen, I call it the Analog Man Cave, and I call my people the cavemen. So Agile Monk already has a special request. Good sir, my brother, can you run this more family friendly tonight? I have some teen groups I want to send this to later. No problem, man. I'll try to restrain myself. My people know me. What can I say, guys?
Did Agile Monk ask that?
He did. He actually asked that. Yeah.
Okay.
He knows me too well. I will.
No, you know what? It is in the evening, so we're kind of after hours. But it is Sunday.
It is Sunday.
We gotta.
God's day. We gotta have a civil tongue.
I will try to temper my language.
I will as well. Holy cow! And he gave me $10 a super chat, so he's bribing me to do it now. So thank you, Agile Monk.
Well, there you go.
Now do it. So there were no intoxicating beverages. In honor of you, I busted out a Dr. Pepper here tonight.
There you go.
There you go. And I got it in my because I'm the DM. That's why mug. So here.
Oh, sweet.
Cheers to you guys.
I have coffee.
So Steve, I was telling you before, we have a story together. I don't know if you remember this.
Thanks, Sparky.
This is it. This is interesting. Now, I moved back into Connecticut after being away for a long time, and for a bit, I had to restart the life, right? And so I was broke, and I had a dog that was sick, and I never had any money, and I kept calling you because I wanted to buy Castle Zagyg, right? I wanted to buy a copy, and I said, hey, put aside a copy. I know it's going to go fast. Put aside a copy. All right, I got it, Joe. You put aside a copy. Put aside, and I finally got the money. The dog got better. I had the money up. I had like $50 or whatever it was, and Gail did that thing. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. Holy crap. I finally got the cash and I can't buy Zagyg.
Wait, did you never get a copy of it?
Here's the thing. I called Steve up. And Steve, do you remember this at all now?
I actually do. I kept it.
You did. Yeah. You kept it for me. And you reached out to Gail and said, hey, this guy's been on the hook. He's had the money, blah, blah, blah. And she says, okay. So I purchased the very last copy ever allowed of the first edition of Castle Zagyg. Yeah, that was that guy, Steve. And I tell everybody that story every time I go to any con. I'm like, I got to meet these guys. I got to shake his hand. So this is the best I could do for now. Well,
I'm glad it all worked out, and you still have it because I think those are money now. I
do. Oh, I know. I looked at about on eBay a while back, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm not going to sell, but I should have got 2.
I'd have to go look it all up, but I think we only printed 750 of them. So it was not many.
How much?
No, there weren't many.
Wow, 750. You say, Steve?
I think so. That's the number that always pops into my head. I know it was under 1,000.
Wow.
Because we had to rush it. We just had to rush it like nuts. But I actually do remember that. That's funny. I do remember that.
Do you remember? That's cool. I appreciate that. And I tell that story every time. I sit with Jeff Delaney at the bar. First time I met him, I told him this story. First time I met him, actually, I was running this thing at a small convention up here in Connecticut. And he had his first edition of his book. He might have been, Hyperborea, back then a long name, and he might have been beta testing it there. And I met him. I said, I'll tell him the whole story and this and that. Yeah. Good guy. It's a small world, man. It's a funny thing.
I do want to say, so in the last week or two, my wife and I have gotten into a bunch of mafia documentaries, and they always call it the life. You can't get out of the life. I want to get back into the life. So I really like how you said that, Joe, that when I got back into the life. So really, the life means either mafia or playing role-playing games. I like this.
That's really it. You're right, man. You're absolutely right. You dip out for a while, but you always get back in.
That's right. That's right. They pull you back in.
Al Pacino. I thought I was out. Right? Yeah. That's how it goes, man.
It's like Goodfellas. Where are we going to end up? On a plastic sheet somewhere.
Back of a trunk in the party. Jesus Christ. Oh, I just said, I gotta mind my tongue. Thank God I'm not drinking. I'm trying to lose weight, but I made sure that I had to save my calorie. I'm trying to get into bikini shape again for the summer here, but I made sure I limited today's calories so that I could have this Dr. Pepper with you guys.
There you go. You got to balance it all, man. You got to
balance it. I'll get less pizza, more Dr. Pepper, right? So, so you got to get back into the life. How'd you guys get into the life? Speaking of the life, who did it? Who brought the box set home first? Who brought the book home?
You want me to tell a story, Davis? You don't want to tell it?
Yeah, no, this is the odd thing about that is that he remembers it better than I do.
All right, okay.
No, but I will say that my memory is really spotty. And he collapses. Like I'll collapse all 10 years into a single moment, And it's like that's how it comes out. It's like that happened then, and you're like, no, that was 1976, 79, 82, 88, and I'm like, well,
you got to think about because he doesn't care about any of that stuff. He never cared about any of the stuff. He's just what he's doing now is what he's doing. It's probably a pretty healthy attitude when it comes to life because all that baggage. So actually, ironically, it was my mother that got us into this because one of my dads. My dad was this was at Fort. This wasn't Fort Camp. It's Fort Leavenworth. Fort Leavenworth. He had one of his troopers was going to Korea, I believe, in a hardship tour, and the guy had these small little brown books, and he gave them to my mother because he knew that her son's war games, and Davis and I did a lot of war gaming. Of course, Davis I was a little younger than Davis, so I still am a little younger than Davis.
Still, yeah.
And it turns out that doesn't change over time. So the age thing stays. But so Davis was deep into war games, and because my older brother was, I was. So I went with my mom. I don't really remember much about it. I can kind of see my mom standing there, and I can kind of see the guy. He gave her the books. Now she tells me.
It was in a back alley somewhere.
It was
money exchange.
It was actually a parking lot. Because Leavenworth it's the Army War College, right, Davis? Is that what's in Leavenworth?
Command General Staff College. Yeah.
Yes, and Dad was teaching there. So I guess it wasn't one of his troopers because that would have been Fort Campbell. So whatever the relation was with this guy.
Yeah.
I remember there was a parking lot. I do remember that, and those red brick buildings that are all over Fort Leavenworth. I remember that as well. Yeah. And he told her, now I don't remember this, my mom told me this. He said that be careful with these become very addictive. So, which, ironically, and then so we took the book, and was it Christmas gift, Davis, or birthday?
Yeah. It was either Christmas, probably a birthday. I think it was a birthday.
So what year are we talking? We're little brown books. Are we in the 70s here?
Yeah, 1974 or 5, probably.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've got them here in the drawer here. I took them from Davis a few years ago.
Holy smoke.
It would have been 75, I think.
75?
Yeah, it was 74 or 75. It was the last little bit that we were in Leavenworth before we moved to Campbell. Because it's Campbell where it all took off.
Campbell's where it takes off. Because now Davis tells me this part of it, because I don't remember this either. I just played whatever Davis said. We're playing this. And that, I'm playing this game. That's what we're doing. And Davis told me that you read them, I guess, and you didn't know what the hell these things were, so you just put them in the closet.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, it dawned on you, or you read something or saw something. Who the God knows what you saw. And he pulled them out of the closet, and he made me I want to say it was 8, it might have been 7 characters. I didn't make my own characters for years. Davis did all. He would give me the character sheet, name these guys, and this is what you're playing. And of course, I named them all Tarzan and Tarzan's ape from the ape tribes because that's what I was reading. And then we proceeded to play D&D starting in 75. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
The very beginning. You got the very beginning. How old? I mean, I'm asking.
I was
a woman, but.
So you were 8 or 9, and I was 60 for 70. I was 10 or 11. So
10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was really hit and miss in the other. I mean, I didn't understand the rules for a long time, right? I was just making it up as I went, or whatever, whatever I could get a hold of. But I remember at some point I was combining rules from Tobruk. Like because we played Tobruk, the tank game, right? And there's something in the Tobruk game that is also in the D&D games, right?
The Brook?
And some of the charts or philosophy or whatever. And then the other one was the Lord of the Rings game. Because if you recall, if anyone's played that game, you know that everyone had hit points. Like Frodo has hit points or whatever. I don't know if they're called hit points or wounds or whatever. That you have to track on the back of their little cards, right? When they get wounds, something like that. And that's when it dawned on me. But do you remember this? The first set of characters you played, like I didn't understand the experience charts. So I would just like for a fighter, it was like 2,000 experience to get a level, right? I was like, okay, 2,000 for every level, right? So you were like 10th level in no time.
Nice.
Yep. I don't remember that. That's funny.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. Like that was a dawning on me when I realized that that's not how these charts progress. I misunderstood the whole thing, Then I started to actually read the rules, like sit there and try to figure out what these rules were saying and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got into it. A kid at school had it, and he had the advanced game, and it was shop class. And I'm like, I went to a state tech school, learn a trade thing, and so shop class, and he busted out the 20 dice and the books, and I'm like, this is cool. What, huh? And the teacher's back in his, drinking and smoking. He had this really ripe coffee and smoking cigarettes in his back office. He never came out. So we're all rolling dice all day. And I'm like, this is great. He says, yeah, but you need to get the basic box set first. I'm like, all right, I don't know. And Advances is 84, right? You need to get the basic box set. I'm like, all right, I'll get that. And I can't play Advances until I get basic. And then he said, you got to read the Lord of the Rings, but you got to read the Hobbit first. You can't read. So I'm reading all the rules here, so I had to wait like 6 months to my stupid library, got the Hobbit in, and I'm like dying to read this thing. I can't figure out what the hell's going on. And I brought home my brother, and I tyrannized him for forever with this game, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, it's weird how it starts too. It's good you had a brother, someone to play with.
Yeah. We wrote my sister a couple times and some neighborhood friends or something, but that was pretty much it. We didn't have anybody else who was playing it other than a couple kids at school, so I didn't know anything, right? It's no internet, right, in the 80s, and so and I didn't go to cons, and so you're really trying to figure the crap out as you go,
Yeah, because I don't remember. Did even Russell play?
No one in the court played until you started playing. You and I started, and you started, of course. And then I think I started running some games. Who was that kid? Chad Bevington. There's a couple other kids I started playing. Yeah. We gamed all the time until 81 when we moved, or 80 when we moved to Germany. And then Davis got his group and I got my own group, but we still gamed together quite a bit,
Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah, who was in the military? Steve, you're in the military, right?
We were both in the service.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And different branches or whatever split the ways and came back at the end?
Davis was military intelligence and I was commo. And our other brother, Zane, was armor, but he went into the officer corps and became commo too, I think. No, personnel.
I can't remember what he did in the. I remember a tank.
He went to armor school, and when he was in Germany, he was a tanker. Then he goes to OCS, becomes a second lieutenant, and then I think he went to Fort Huachuca. I can't remember.
Okay, all right.
He went to. Yeah, then he ended up in Germany. Honestly, I don't know what he was doing. Officers are a different whatever.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what the officers ever did.
Those two, Zane and Davis, went to Germany, did their service in Germany. I got the really rough tour. I went to Hawaii and did my service. It was tough.
Oh God, Jesus, that sucks. That sucks. Had to survive it.
Yeah, I know, man. It was such a struggle. It was really funny when I arrived at Fort Shafter's replacement battalion there in Hawaii. They didn't have orders for me. So for 5 weeks, I sat at the replacement battalion. All I had to do was wake up in the morning, fall into roll call, which was like 3 people, and then we would do roll call, and I was done for the day. So for 5 weeks of my first stint, I just wandered around. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
That's living a dream.
Yeah,
we both Yeah, we both ended up in the same boat because when I left Devon's and I got shipped off to Germany, I showed up in Germany. They had lost my records, all of them. Okay, I didn't have medical records. I didn't have enlistment records. I didn't have squat. Okay, I also didn't have any money.
And this is military intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I took advantage of it, so I got put in a holdover platoon like you did. It probably wasn't as cush as yours, but because I got stuck with the people who were getting kicked out of the military.
Oh no, dude! Mine was tough. Every morning I'd get up, do roll call, and then I'd pack my bag, head down to the beach. I'd lay at the beach for 4 or 5 hours. Come back, get a free lunch, go back to the beach. It was tough, man. I can tell you, it was.
I can imagine how you survived, though. Just the hula skirts and the blue hours and bikinis. Yeah, it's brutal, man. Brutal life.
Yeah. Now it did become a problem much later when there was an arrest warrant issued for me for being AWOL.
For being AWOL, but they lost your records.
Yeah, and by that time I begged a friend of mine to find a unit for me, and she found a unit for me, right, that would take me. So I was in this unit, but I had to report every morning. I had to go report to the captain, right?
Okay.
And go to the captain's office or whatever, report in so that they could log me in, and then they get this thing where they're looking for me because I'm AWOL.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Just to kind of put everything into perspective for Davis, when my dad was in the service, he did like he served in Germany when Davis was born in Germany, and they lost his records. So Davis' birth certificate was lost. He has, from the day he was born up until about a year and a half ago, he has had a nonstop struggle with the U.S. federal government trying to identify that he's a human. So.
Oh yeah, no. Do you remember? So I graduated high school in Germany, right? Yeah. I got drafted by the German army. Yeah, I get a draft notice from the German army, and I'm like, Dad, how can I get drafted? I'm an American citizen anyway. So it turned into.
Man, was he mad?
He was mad. So that's where I had to get the vice president's signature, which I still have on a certificate saying I'm an American citizen and can't be drafted.
The vice president of the United States.
Yes. I can't. Who was it at the time?
Oh man, that would have been Reagan was president. So Bush.
Mondale. Was it Mondale? No.
No, Bush. It would have been Bush if Reagan was in. Yeah, the first Bush. W. No.
Okay. Yeah.
George H.W.
Yeah, the older one.
Yeah. Now, in retrospect, I sort of wish that I had
served in the German army.
Served in the German army. That would have been fun. And then come back to America and served in the American army, and then just join militaries across the globe. Go to the French Foreign Legion. Blah 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 blah. That would have been interesting. Oh, and here's the last one that lost the IRS lost me. Okay,
that's not a bad thing. That's honestly that ain't a bad thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't think so either until I opened my mouth when I tried to actually file a tax return, and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" And they had misfiled all my tax records.
Oh my God!
Forever. So I didn't exist for the IRS for
for like 3 years. It took you forever.
No, and I was terrified the whole time because once you let the IRS know you're here.
Yeah, rub your ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, gotten to the point when Davis texts me or calls me or I'm at the farm or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, the government lost Bo." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Here's what I'm thinking. Did they assign you to be like a deep state undercover officer and you just forgot and they stripped your identity so that you could do so? You went out drinking one night, forgot all about your gig, and then here you are trying to get back out of it.
From the 70s, I think Kevin Costner plays the Soviet deep state spy that's raised up in the Navy. It goes the whole thing. You don't talk about.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Davis, you might be a Cold War spy from the Soviet Union. Who knows?
That's it. There was a whole series of the Americans on that. Remember the Russians?
I could be. This is great. You might be onto something. We're in trouble now because this is going live, right?
It is. We're live everywhere.
I may be
cover, Davis.
I know. I may be an MK Ultra baby. I'm just waiting for the keyword to signal me off.
Right.
You're MK Ultra. You had a lot of acid back in the day, then, right? I mean, all the good times, man.
You're right.
This one's a deep space spy, and this one's doing acid. This one's on the BJ. I said a hell of a military life.
Yeah, it was funny.
God. So you got back to the United States, started playing D&D again, right? When did you decide we're doing this damn game? We're going to make our game. When did that happen? How did that come about?
That's a Mac Golden thing. So Davis was an archaeologist at the time.
That's very cool, by the way. Got to say,
he'd been doing that for a good decade or 15 years. And then I was working on my PhD, and I had written like 3 or 4 adventures and sent those to TSR. And Mac had So Mac Golden started. I started gaming with Mac back in 1984 or 1985. We became great friends. We still are great friends. We gamed for years and years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a great editor, so he was editing adventures before we sent him to TSR. They all got rejected, by the way. And then Mac started a zine or zine. I can never remember how to pronounce that.
I think it's zine.
He started a zine called The Seeker. He and a friend of ours named Chris Harris, and we were going to Dragon Con in those days, and so we were handing the Seeker around to anyone who would take it, and spreading the thing. And then later that year, so this is 1999, early 99, somewhere around Dragon Con time frame, which would have been July, I think. Mac was like, "Hey man, let's start our own company and go to Gen Con." Now, the funny thing is, there's a great podcast somewhere out there called the Crusader Podcast, I think, and Tyler and crew interviewed Davis, and then me, and then Mac all separately. And we all have different origin stories that we all remember this very differently, which is absolutely freaking hysterical. But I do know that we all Mac and I met at Vino's like on a Tuesday or something. And he said, "Hey, let's start this game company. This is what we can do." He started babbling about OGL and D20, and I didn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He goes, "But I just want you to write adventures. I'll run the company, blah, blah, blah." Davis shows up. In those days, Davis was staying with me. He'd be on the field for 2 weeks, then come back and stay with me for like a week, and then go back in the field. I think you were in Yellville, Davis. I think in
that spate. I was when I was going in and out of was it Little Rock?
Yeah, it would have been Little Rock, but I can't remember where you were digging. No, you were out west. Because
I was out west at that point. Yeah, no. So it was random when I was coming through. Completely random at that time. When you were in Fayetteville.
That's right. That's when you were in Yellville.
Yeah, I was out every week, and on weekends I was like, I'm not going to get an apartment. I'm just going to crash.
Here. Well.
Though I will say, in an interesting side note, when I joined, one of my many funny Davis stories, when I joined the Army, the first Gulf War had started, and when I was flying off to basic training, I go to the whatever the hell, and this older veteran came up, "Thank you for joining the Army," and he gave me this bottle of wine. So I kept that bottle of wine. I carried it, went through everywhere I went. That bottle of wine went the whole time in Hawaii. Well, one of these days I came back I was doing my PhD stuff, and I come back. And I see David sitting at my counter there in the kitchen, and the bottle of wine's in front of him. I was like, "What are you drinking?"
Oh, Jesus. Holy crap.
Absolutely hilarious.
Special wine.
So anyway, for whatever weird fluke, Davis is passing through like 2 days later when we're going to have our second meeting. So he joins us in the Davis.
No, wait. Do you remember me coming through? Like it was much earlier in this time because those podcasts are really interesting, and I found them a few years ago.
It was way before Dragon. You're right. It was way before Dragon Con because we were planning to go to Dragon Con, and instead of that, we went to Gen Con. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I thought that I was so much later. I thought I was sort of the inspiration for the whole thing. Little did I know that they were doing the whole zine and that talked about it and all these plans. Because I came through one time and you showed me your red book or whatever it was.
The giant notebook of shit.
The giant notebook for Aired, right? And I was like, you should write up and do a game of, blah, blah, blah. And then I took off. And then I showed back up, and that's when y'all roped me into this whole thing. But I thought I was the inspiration. Little did I know, I was just like, they were hook, line, and sinking me in.
It was really, Mac was the driving impetus behind this. He knew, and it was funny too. Davis had zero plan on any of this. We just, okay, let's do it. Now let's go do something.
Yeah.
But Mac had, because he was deep into whatever message board system was going on back then. Because he's a lawyer, he got involved in, he wasn't part of the writing crew, but he was part of the test crew, I guess, for the open game license when Wizards of the Coast was first doing it, or experimenting with it in 98, 97, 99. So Mac knew what was coming. He knew that the OGL was going to be released. He knew that Wizards of the Coast was going to open up a ton of material to third parties. And so he was thinking, we got to get in on this thing now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we did. So he and Davis designed the first game we ever made. It was actually called Swords and Sorcery, and it was they designed this game that looked very, very much like D20 because the open gaming license hadn't been released, but Mac knew it was going to go in it. So he said we have to design it so that it can be very compatible with Dungeons and Dragons 3.0. Yeah. And it was. I think at Gen Con 2000 is when we released. There was Atlas Games, Necromancer Games, and Troll Lord Games. They had official licenses. We did not, but ours looked enough like third edition that we got picked up by ACD Distribution. And so, you know, immediately, as everyone remembers, those days were crazy. Everything sold quickly.
Yeah. I remember seeing everything on the shelves. I mean, I started going down to New York, going to, you know, the mecca of all gamer places, Complete Strategist, you know, and they, believe it or not, they still have a glut. It's like on the lower shelf in the section where fat people can't fit. They still have a glut of these books down there of like the third edition days, you know, the D20 license books. There was an amazing amount of stuff, and earlier, 150 different companies were publishing stuff, and here you go. There's only a handful that are still doing it, you know.
Yeah, it was wild when D20 collapsed. I remember it very well because it was, and we had one book of Familiars in the pipeline. We had a deep run already signed. Yeah. So we took a bath on that, but because the retailers stopped buying it. I mean, it went from in a 90-day period, you were selling 2,000 to 3,000 of anything to nothing. I mean, it was nuts.
What caused the collapse? What happened?
100% of glut. You can almost Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, you can, at a certain point, it's like with any market, it's oversaturated. And also, think of this from the consumer end. So even though you're into games, like D20 would have just murdered me. I would, you know, if I were not involved at all, right?
Yeah.
Because the glut of the amount of material that was being produced.
Yeah.
You're talking about reading like War and Peace every week just to minimally keep up with the basic stuff that was coming out. It was just tremendous. And I think the consumers, you know, everyone was excited and that money went flying. And then suddenly everyone's like, whoa, hold on a second. This is, you know.
The thing too, people started getting faster internet, I remember, and then there was the PDF glut. Everybody had a PDF, you know, and so the PDF area made quite a few deliveries to my hard drive over the night. You know, you go to bed, you wake up, oh, surprise, right? And you look at this shit and you're like, geez, I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm glad I didn't order it because it was crap. You know, people were just pumping out nonsense a lot of times. You know, some of the nuggets.
As the software got easier to use, it just became absolute insanity. There were so many releases every week. Retailers couldn't keep up. Retailers are the one that broke first, I think, even before the consumers did.
Probably.
The consumers were headed that way because you couldn't play the game with 48 different source books, right?
Yeah. No. Everyone had their own like little special like. There must have been like 2,800 classes. By 2000, I think they were called, it's like everyone had their own prestige class, their own abilities and stuff like that. So, which is, you know, in a way is fine from a design perspective. I'm like, I mean, that's how it goes. Everyone loves house ruling, home ruling, and creating their own little environment. Yeah. Great. But making a living off of it's, you know.
Yeah, they should have done a little bit of, you know, buy the license for $500 or anything to kind of stop.
Yeah. What did you guys do to survive it? How did you? I mean, like I said, 150. You're down to from that era.
We flew down to Colombia a lot.
we had our planes filled with all kinds of Sunday So weirdly, I was at GTS. So at this point, Mac leaves the company in 2003, and Davis and I quit working on my PhD about 2002. and committed to the company full time. Mac was doing his setting up practice or whatever he was doing, and Davis was still a full time archaeologist. So it was really, for a while there, it was just me. And I remember Todd Gray and I went to, he may have gone to this one, Davis, because Davis would join. GPS was out in Vegas in those days. That's the Gamma Trade Show.
I went to one of those. Yeah.
Okay, you may have been to this one. I can't remember, but because Davis was out there, he would sometimes swing down and join us. But I was at the Gamma Trade Show with Todd, and we were eating dinner one night, and John Nephew from Atlas Games, great guy. I don't know if he's still in the industry. I haven't talked to him in years, but he comes by the table and he goes, "Hey, Steve, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to prepare for the glut?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "The glut, it's all fixing to pop. The bubble's going to pop." And I said, "Dude, I don't know what those words mean. I've been studying Austro-Hungarian history for the past 10 years. I'm not sure what a glut is or bubbles or whatever." So he told me, he said, "Dude, there's some blah, 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 blah." And then we had one fail safe that it turned out. We didn't know it at the time. But when the market collapses, which is 2003 and 2004, 4 or 5, I think, is when it collapsed. Gary Gygax got us through that, without a doubt. The Gygax Fantasy World Series continued to sell. So they had the D20 logo on it. They're all really nice, big, thick hardcover books, and retailers still carried them. Amazon was carrying them pretty heavy in those days. But we also, when John said that, I came back to the Little Rock and I sat down with Mac and got Davis on the phone, or Davis came in or whatever. And you were actually, I think you would.
I was doing my master's then. By that time,
Vera had just got married, or I can't. It's been a hot.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
But anyway, I get with Davis and Mac, and I said, "Listen, we need something to brace for this glut. I think we need to do a role playing game." And
Mac walking in the dictionary, glut. Look what it means.
Exactly. Mac was like, "Dude, you can just use the open gaming license and make your own fucking role play. Just do that." Now, Davis is a game designer. I am not. Davis is, Mac is. They love the idea of game design. So I was like, "All right, if y'all want to make, I can't make it, but I'll sell it. If you guys want to make a role playing game, I'll sell it." And Davis asked me, said, "So what are the parameters?" Because I didn't really like D20 that much, just because it was, like Davis was saying, it was so complicated.
Yeah.
I told Davis, it's got to be something simple that's like AT&D in its simplicity. That was all I said. And then the rest of it was there. They designed it. So we released right after the collapse, we released the Player's Handbook. So that also, the CNC became that almost, and I'm pretty sure the first OGL game ever made, RPG ever made, next to Dungeons & Dragons. And that and Gygax carried us through that. But it was tight. I had to let everybody go. I went off salary.
It was just you. Yeah. You have a printing press, right, guys? You guys have your own press. That's got to help, right?
That comes a little bit later, not much later, but that was Davis. Everyone went off salary, and then we just started publishing these, and Aired was selling pretty good too. So Gygax, Aired, and Castles and Crusades carried us to the blood. So hats off to John Nephew for giving us the heads up. A year before it happened. So.
Tell me what a glut is. Not bad.
Exactly.
Glut, huh? Damn, man. Damn.
That design stuff was funny. Do you remember? So this was the. He says it had to be simple, right? Well, it was a little bit more. So from my end, I had been designing games since forever, right? Putting together my own rules. And I badgered you for a while. We need to do our own game. We should do our own game.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, that's not our whatever gig. And that's fine. So, but do you remember the first game? Because it didn't take me long to come up with the first game, the first iteration of the game. And you remember... Huh? Yeah, I showed it to him, and he couldn't understand any of it. There was so much math. I mean, there was so much math in the game. It was just there were some good parts to it that I recall. That a lot of it did actually end up in Castles and Crusades. A whole lot of it did. But what I had to do, what was the rule though? If I can't understand it in one sentence or one paragraph,
There was one pass. So you're right. I don't remember.
It was one pass. That was it. If I don't get it in one pass, I'm out.
That works.
So when Davis, I don't remember the game that he wrote, but I do remember the frustration reading it because I was like, all right, Davis, listen, because I can't read rules, man. Even back in the Woebegone days, the funniest thing he did when the AD&D Player's Handbook came out in 79 or whenever that was.
Yeah.
Davis was I remember he was so super. I didn't buy anything. I just stole Davis's stuff. But Davis was so super excited. He got the Player's Handbook and he gave it to me.
Yeah.
We were in the second room. I remember this. He gave it to me and he goes, "Hey, you've got to read this before we play again." I looked like at 1 or 2 pages and I'm not reading that. And I gave it back to him.
My brother was different with that. We both dove into these books. We didn't have too many. We had the World Book Encyclopedia, we had like the Bible, and we had D&D books. Right, this is it. This is the whole house. So we're not. I read the World Book backward and forward. Neither of us read the Bible, and we were just diving into D&D. But we were the types that we would just read it over and over. We bring it everywhere. Like this is my original Redbox set. I mean, this thing has been through hell and back.
Oh wow!
This is what I started with the Mensa Redbox. I mean, it's been through hell and back. And I forbade him because it said so that he is not allowed because I'm the DM and he can't read the rule in the DM guide. They told me years later, I read that goddamn thing every night.
He didn't follow the rules.
He didn't follow the rules.
Because I could never, my brain's just not wired that way. I read a rule and I just wander off into some field pressing wildflower or something. Yeah. So I told David, all right, this is great, but if I can't read it in one pass, you got to rewrite it. So there was a whole lot of rewriting. It was hysterical.
That's good.
I tried to dumb it down for my 20 brain.
Back then,
there was a lot of rewriting, in retrospect, it was a little bit complex.
I believe it. I saw that you did. I think you were the one who wrote the Castle Keepers guide, right, Davis? You were the
No, Steve wrote most of that.
Oh, really?
I wrote a little over half of that, and then the rest Jim Ward did, and Jason Fay.
Okay.
I can't remember what sections I did. Geography, geology.
You did the monsters and geography, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out too. There was early Twitter. And I remember I was like, I was still broke. I couldn't afford too much. And I was like, I'm going to get this book. And I was like, I'll just get the PDF. And I saw the price, like 30 whatever bucks. I'm like, and I remember posting on Twitter, holy crap, 30 bucks for the PDF. And Steve, you posted, we got Joe Lawyer pissed at us. I'm like, dude, I'm broke. What are you on?
It was 1999. I think we were one of the first companies to put our PDFs at the higher price.
At a good price. Yeah, it was. I mean, looking back now, it's a smart move, but everyone else was like discounting the value of them. And you guys actually, and I looked at it, and when I finally got the PDF, I'm like, all right, this is worth the $20 or whatever.
I don't really like. I don't.
Dude, you got so much heat for that. Remember those
for months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Every other person in the industry was yelling and screaming and just upset. Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I don't like the money side of things, but we still, even if it's a PDF, the writing has to be paid for, the art, layout,
absolutely.
And it hit me at some point that we're giving these things away for free, and they were eating up more and more of the market share, which really about TLG. When we started this, and I've got the reports buried in the TLG files, but 97, maybe 95% of our business was distribution. And the rest was mail orders from retailers. And then once in a blue moon, someone would send us a check from somewhere, mail book, like 1978 or something. But now it's like completely reversed. And when PDFs became a thing, and we were slow because of me, we were slow to get on the PDF bandwagon. PDFs began eating up because it was the glut. The D20 had collapsed. Everyone's scrambling. The D20 glut and collapse has a huge impact on the industry and few people saw it. But what it did is it scared retailers away from buying RPGs. They never came back. During the D20 era, there was, I can't remember, I'd have to get older on the phone. It's like 1,200 active stores, and now there's like 450 or something. I think it maxed down at like 700 a few years ago because they just stopped carrying RPGs because they took a bath on them. They took an absolute bath with D20 and then cards and board games, replace it quick enough. But the PDFs also ate into that market too.
I believe it. I did a recent run. I got bored. Every once in a while, I got to go visit my peeps, and I hit a game stores, and there's a couple in this state, and I hit one. It's a very large one, and the dice selection is like, you can tell when there's a big dice rack, and they're moving the bottom ones up, and there's only like a few layers deep on the dice rack, and very few PDFs, very, very, very few RPG books rather. And I remember talking to a guy, another store I went to right after that. There was a few 5e books in a corner on the bottom, and you can't even. And it was like, dude, there's no RPGs, no D&D, nothing. He goes, no. I said, you don't even run games here. He goes, no. It's like all Magic the Gathering and wargaming. I'm like, Jesus, this is like a hell of a switch from our day. You know, it's and you see people play.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You have one good game store up there in south of Hartford, maybe towards Manchester.
There's one of us in Newington. Is that the one you're thinking of?
I don't know. It's in an older store, like an old strip mall type area, but it's really, really big.
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty decent one.
That is a good one. That's the one that has a decent selection. Even the dice, not too many. You know what I mean? It's like there's just that's the biggest one in the States. The tabletop.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That is the largest on size. Yeah, the biggest one in the state. They got a good show. But if that's the biggest and the best, and hardly any miniatures, low dice, not a lot of books. Holy shit, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
It actually reminds me of the early because in those days, there wasn't really an outlet for these things. Not until the 70s does it become a thing. But because Davis we'd go to these comic book stores. We were talking about the one the other day. Was it Hopkinsville or Clarksville, Davis? I think it's Hopkinsville. I'm pretty sure.
No, Clarksville. It was in Clarksville.
There was this comic book store we'd go in Clarksville, and it was this guy's basement underneath his garage, I think. It was in the back. We walked down his driveway, and you go down these steps, and there was like comic books everywhere. And this is why kids disappeared in the 70s, right?
Yeah. It's why we had everybody on the milk cartons. And
Mom would drop us off. I remember she would drive up to his driveway. We would get out of the car and walk down the driveway.
Yeah. And you go down around a set of steps, and then the old basement door creaks open, and there's the yellow lights hanging on the thing.
Yellow lights.
And there's an old man sitting back there. Hi, kiddies! Welcome to my comic book shop.
Yeah, exactly. Remember that commercial? Yeah, you said, "Do you know where your children are?" That's how ranging we were back then. We're out there. You had to put a commercial on. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? It's like, oh. Yeah. Where's Bill?
I don't know.
No. It's not even the 10 o'clock at night, though. It's in the morning. It's like, do you remember that? What was that flea market?
Yes, across the railroad track.
Across the railroad track. So there was a 4-lane highway or whatever, and you could either run the highway, and remember a couple of our friends got on that. Yeah.
Damn. Jesus.
Yeah, but you'd go over the train trestle, and then you'd go down to the thing. Well, that flea market was open real early on Sunday morning. If we got out of the house in time, we didn't have to go to church. And the flea market was top of the list of place to go.
You'd have to go. This was at Fort Campbell, so we would head out wherever, and it was about a 10-minute walk to the railroad track. Then the track went off post into whatever town, Hopkinsville or Clarksville, I can't remember. And then there was a flea market, and we loved going there because the comic books were like 5 cents a comic. There was just comic books everywhere.
Oh yeah,
and you could go in and just find these really cheap comic books.
Yeah,
of course they were only like 15 cents at the grocery store, so it wasn't a huge savings.
Steve, I just noticed when looking at all your books, I missed the picture. I Want to Believe, and we have I got another one right up going back there.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Which leads me to another question. Davis, archaeologist, right? Egyptian pyramids, UFOs, no UFOs, there we go. This is it, right? I got a whole bookcase back there with ancient alien related
nice.
Stuff. I got it all.
Okay, you and my brother.
Oh yeah.
Wait. So before you ask your Egyptian pyramid question, so Davis and I are flying back from a convention like a month ago from San Francisco. We're sitting on the plane, we're exhausted, and I'm sitting there. I was reading one of these UFO books. I can't remember which one it was. The whole flight, everything's quiet. Starts late, 11 o'clock, whatever. And the guy next to me, after a while, he goes, "Are you into UFOs?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm reading this." And then we got into this huge conversation about UFOs. And Davis is sitting next to me, who's a complete skeptic. He's like, Oh my God!
I got into this stuff with Graham Hancock. I mean, the fingerprints of the gods.
Oh my God!
Whatever the heck they use. I got deep. I went deep. My early internet. I was on that stuff. And I remember my archaeology professor in college, a favorite professor ever, Kenny Fader. All right, Feder. Right, I love this guy. Entertaining as all hell. Told great stories. I mean, had me this close to want to be an archaeologist, for life. But I was like, I don't know if I want to be. I should have gone. I should have done it. Basically, bottom line. And I'm watching Ancient Aliens one night, and who shows up as the debunker is Kenny Fader. I'm like, no, you betrayed me. How could you betray me like this? I'm calling my brother. Hey, Fader's on TV. Put it on.
That's not right, man. It's not right.
You can't do this to me. You're my hero. You're my best professor ever, and you're betraying me. So all right. Defend yourself, Davis. How can it not be some level of aliens or Atlantis? I think it's Atlantis. That's my take on it.
What? The pyramids?
Yeah. Atlantis. That's totally Atlantis. Yeah. What do you think? You think it's real? Egyptians did it and all that crap?
Yeah. Why not? I mean, until there's some kind of evidence otherwise, like concrete evidence otherwise. I mean, what? Okay, so we have so when was Cheops? When is the first pyramid?
Hey, Davis,
are speaking of.
This major drew that picture. If that's not
Okay, so before those three pyramids, of which those are the ones that everyone talks about, right? But they don't talk about the 2,500 other pyramids that precede those pyramids.
Precede?
Yes.
Okay, because I know the bunch of ones that were afterwards are all crappier in construction.
The ones before are crappier construction too, or different construction. And you can even see there's one where they gave up midway because they were off. One of the angles was off by like an inch, like midway up, and there's no way to correct once you're off, so they just quit, right? And the pyramid's just sitting out there in the desert. So there's we can see the evolution of these pyramids coming up.
What about the Sphinx? What about the Sphinx in the water, the weathering of the Sphinx? Back me up here, Stephen, right? Remember that whole thing?
So, Davis, the reason that they don't talk about those earlier pyramids is they weren't built by aliens. The ones
Bingo. If I wasn't in my underwear right now, I'd be going to those bookshelves.
Right.
All right.
So I've just recently, in the last probably 2 years ago, got into the UFO thing, and it's pretty fascinating. And Davis and I argue about it quite a bit because there's a lot of weird shit going on. Now it's very possible that it's all a giant CIA psyop. I don't know. That could be on the table.
This is it. This is Davis's deep cover. He's there to debunk all the shit of the world. This is why he doesn't exist.
Okay, wait, no. Okay, so you say the CIA sets up this whole operation. They do. They've admitted it.
Yes.
They set up a disinformation thing to create this UFO deal, and part of it was an experiment to see how much people would buy into it. What?
Wait a minute, you're a little bit off. The CIA doesn't. The UFO sightings begin in 47. The Robertson panel is in 53.
Okay, yeah.
That's when they say, all right, we got to debunk all this shit because it's causing too much chaos in the whatever. And they were afraid. Now you take for whoever's motivations for whatever. But one of the generals in that was part of that panel was, we are afraid that the Soviet Union will use this UFO stuff to terrify Americans and bog down our radar so they could get a first strike in. That was the fear. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so the only thing that the CIA they came up with is, okay, anyone who mentions this has to be ridiculed and made fun of, so pilots were told to stop talking about it. Air Force pilots and commercial pilots, they were blacklisted so that you wouldn't get flight hours, all kinds of shit. It's weird. It's weird.
It is absolutely weird. And the whole thing, the CIA is the ones, they started the whole thing with conspiracy theory. There was maybe 2 instances of that phrase ever in existence until the Kennedy magic goddamn bullet thing, right? And then all of a sudden, CIA drops the phrase conspiracy theory to debunk everything related to that, and they apply it to everything else in the world, including UFOs. David, you deep spy, deep state spy. All right, now we know.
Now we've unearthed Davis at last.
This is it.
I'm here for a reason.
You and Kenny Fader are in on it. All right, this is what I know now. Kenny Fader.
Well, Scottish Jeff says this is the CIA has been operating since Roman times. Yes, we have. Yes, they have.
Dan Tesh says, so RPGs, huh, guys?
All right, so we're going to slide back to RPG so we can bust his balls a little bit more. Steve, it sounds like Davis was the DM for the most part, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. When at the house, I don't think I ever ran you in a game, Dave. If I did, I don't remember it.
I reached out to my brother, who's also younger, and because I was the all-powerful, almighty DM, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have a live stream tonight with a couple of guys, they're brothers in the industry, blah blah blah." I said, "I'm gonna get them to talk about brother stories." I said, "For all the stories you ever wanted to see, so when I'm doing live streams, saying I'm a great DM, and here's my advice," and he's sitting back, "The hell you are!" All these stories he's got, right, about like how I screwed him over. I said, "Send me a couple stories." So remember, you ever hear of the dozens? It's like that busting each other's chops game where your mama's so fat when she backs up, you hear boop boop, and the other one goes, your mama goes. So we're gonna do a variation of that where the brothers, instead of the dozens, the brothers in DMs. All right. So I'll start it off with he just instantly started texting me stories here. So here's a story from my brother. Let's see if you could top it, Steve. All right. So there we go. Let me slide back a little bit here. He says, did your brother ever have 13 NPCs stab your character at the same time while entering a room with a spear and kill your player character? And he followed up with, and all the spears were poisoned. You have anything like that?
No, but 13 seems to be a magic number. How many Tarzans did I kill that one night? It was probably more than 13.
It was 17. I remember it very
well.
When I was at one point when I was making my own characters, I made a character, made a fighter. It's my favorite guy. I go out and eventually gets killed by some fighters. It pisses me off. So I go like another fighter. And Davis is building the story, of course. They're from the same village. I go fight the spiders. I die. 17 times I died against those freaking spiders until Davis finally said, "You can't make any more people in this village. All the warriors are dead."
all that was left were old people, women, and children. That was it. We're out.
You took away your revenge.
And they were all named Tarzan, I think. Weren't they all named Tarzan?
Tarzan 1, Tarzan
2, yeah. It was
George Foreman did, right? George Foreman Jr., George Foreman II, George Foreman III, right? He's got a lot of grills to sell. You got to support all these George Foreman, you know? All right, so here's another one. Did you ever have did you ever have a druid who was shape changed into a falcon at the top of a tree, who ever got shot by a troll with a longbow, and then he was promptly captured, outside, and roasted over a spit until he was dead? So anything like that, Stephen, that Davis did to you?
No, it didn't happen to me, but our oldest brother, Zane.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I know where you're going now. Yeah.
There were two characters. Cain the Godless, that was my character. I was a chaotic evil fighter. And Zane was playing, I think, a paladin, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he's playing, but whatever. So we were both co-dukes of this city. We were about 5th level, I think, in those days. Mm-hmm. And then there was a revolution, and everything was going south. So I said, all right, I'm out. I fled. And then Zane Davis did to his character the whole Conan tree thing. Nailed into the tree, you know. I had a chance to save him, but I was like,
I had set it up so that so they were opposed to the way they should run the city, and it just at loggerheads all the time, right? So he abandons his older brother, leaves him to die. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to give him a chance, and then I stake him up on the outside of the city. He's just hanging there, right? You know. And he's riding by on his horse incognito, and he just looks up. I go, "Did you do anything?" He's like, "Nah, I just let him die."
Zane was not amused at all.
He didn't get a chance to bite the vulture to death in the neck.
So the way Davis DM'd in those days, and he really still DMs to this day, and it's the way I like to play the most.
All right.
If there's Davis doesn't fudge any dice. He doesn't. I mean, he's got a story that he's telling or whatever, but he doesn't really care. If the dice playing out and you die, you die. I had countless characters die, and there's it's that classic thing when you make a bad choice. That's on you. I mean, that's not, He's not going to say, "Oh, that was really heroic." I remember when Mac and I were trying to hold the bridge. All these orcs were attacking us. I ran forward to hold the bridge. I died in like 2 melee rounds, got decapitated, and Mac got mad, but I think he fled. Chris died drowning in the mud. I mean, it's Davis's games were brutal, beautifully brutal.
Beautifully brutal. I like that. I like that. That's a good way to look at it. I kind of that sums up the old school style. I think beautifully brutal.
It's just, and I don't think I try to like.
No, you don't. You don't.
No. I just set up a situation and like let you figure out your way through it. And there's a lot of,
Well, and here's the deal. Because I attack constantly. I've rarely played wizards and clerics, druids, and all this. I'm mostly just fighters, occasionally clerics. Because I attack constantly, eventually, I'm not much on gambling. I don't know much about odds, but I don't think the odds are usually in your favor the more you gamble. Eventually they're going to go against you. And that's invariably what happens. And Davis actually banned from his table way back in the late 70s critical hits. There's no critical hits, no critical hits. Because I might benefit from a natural 20, right?
Yeah.
But because I'm always one dude attacking 9 orcs, they're going to get to my place. The odds are against me, and I'm going to get slaughtered.
That makes sense. That does make sense. But you still can't beat the fun of rolling the nat 20, man.
Absolutely.
There's something about it.
That's sort of like the Davis's games. The dice are the dice. They're not. It's very interesting. It's a different experience. I shouldn't say most. A lot of people aren't cut out for it because it's brutal. Chris literally fell in the mud. His cavalier fell in the mud. He couldn't get out as he was trying to lift himself up because his hands were stuck, and an orc didn't even know there. The orc stepped on his head and pushed him down in the mud, and Chris drowned in the mud. His second level cavalier, he never had it was awesome. It was just awesome.
Who's loving this right now? I play with a guy, Tim Shorts, in Gothridge Manor. Check out his YouTube channel too. He's awesome too. He runs games in a setting called the Comor Forest. It's sort of the place where if you're going to the outhouse to take a leak in the middle of the night, you might die. It's that sort of a brutal game. It's gritty, it's hardcore, and there's never a happy ending. You might live, and that's sort of the happy ending here. It's good. It's dark,
Everyone died in the last Inzia game. Everyone died except Matt Golden, and he retired his character at second level. 7 silver pieces or 5?
No, it was third level, I think.
And he retired. I'm buying a farm, settling down.
That was after that campaign lasted a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. It was a long time, and he eventually made it to third level, and then he was like out. And how many silver pieces did he have? He had.
Dude, I know that.
He had like a handful of silver pieces, and that was it. And this is why he retired. He met that sheep farmer on that river. And he had this.
I was on my third character. I was waiting to get back in the game with my
Yeah. It was like, I'm done. I'm out. The funny thing about that adventure is like, I'm going to say roughly 2 years of playing. In that whole time, moving up to third year, 2 years of playing, and probably a year in game time had passed. I think a whole season had passed. They only moved like 100 miles.
That brutal, huh? Random encounters every 400 feet kind of a deal?
Yeah. Power of the Dog, G-Bog,
But you think about it, too. 100 miles is a long way. I mean, if you take like medieval France, you take Germany, northwestern Germany during, like, say, 1350, when it was jam-packed and there was all those city-states. You couldn't move. Now, if you throw in there all the random monsters and, like, whatever, you're like, they were doing tons of stuff at the time. I mean, there was a lot of role-playing.
I want to remind everybody, we are everywhere right now. We're streaming on like 10 different platforms. And I forgot, Chuck told me to remind everybody, I guess, because Grace might have thought that this was actually on your channel instead of streaming on mine and restreaming on theirs, that Grace threw out that there's going to be a raffle. Psych, no raffle, guys. Because nature of the platform, I guess you guys use OBS or something as a raffle button. There's no raffle button in this. But there will be a raffle on your guys' channel next time. I think tomorrow, he said, to remind you guys. Watch as we have 72 people watching. It drops to 10 now. I just destroyed.
No, we can do a raffle. Last person to comment when the stream closes wins something.
All right. That's a great raffle. That's a great idea. Keep things in the game.
I don't know how you do that.
All right.
Joe, just to let you know, and everyone out there, this is how Davis does stuff. So you mentioned the print shop that TLG has. Well, so Davis in 2000, that was Davis's idea. In 2005, he's like, because I got so angry at some stuff with POD, and PODs were brand new in those days, and I had it shipped like 2 days air to California, and it was $700. I was so mad. That Davis was like, why don't you make your own print shop? And he says, little research is you can do this. And I said, that's a great idea. Let's do our own print shop. So we dove into it, and Davis just left and had anything to do with it.
No, this is how it is. Yeah, that's always how it is. I'm like, this is a great idea. Here's the research for it. Here's ideas and stuff. I'm out.
Later. Have fun with that. Crap. So Davis gave you the idea. You bought the crap, and boom, you're done.
Oh yeah, Davis is a great idea, guys. Sometimes you gotta follow through on the other end, but that's what we and Todd knows. In those days, it was me, Davis, and Todd and Peter Brandon.
Yeah.
We covered from the glut just a little bit, but
and you said Gary kept you there. I mean, now you guys got the job with Gary to do the first Zagyg, right? I mean, we started with that story. We talking about Castle Zagyg early on, and working with Jeff Talanian. And how did that come about? Like, how did you say, "Hey, let's publish your Mega Dungeon"? I mean, how did that even conversation start?
So Mac, when we first debuted at Gen Con in 2000, Davis and Mac and I go to Gen Con, and what Davis and I are just doing typical Davis and I stuff, which is nothing useless or nothing useful. But Mac, on the other hand, he takes what do we have? 4 books in the map, right, Davis? He takes all of the books and the map, and he goes to the Heckaforge booth, which is where Gary Gygax was working. Gary was in partnership with Chris Clark over at Heckaforge, and they were doing LA and some other stuff. I'm not sure what else they were doing. And Mac just goes up and says, "Hey, Gary, huge fan. Here's some books we published. You know, your inspiration and all of that great stuff." So like the next day, that Saturday is when ACD, maybe on Friday, but ACD picks us up. And ACD, for those of you who don't know, is a distributor. It's the second largest distributor for RPGs out there. And they picked us up and ordered, I remember distinctly, 60 of each of those 4 books, which is a lot. Suddenly we have a business. Because we didn't, I don't know about Davis, but I wasn't, this was really just to pay for the trip to Gen Con. I didn't have any money. I just wanted to go. Yeah, exactly. But so suddenly we have distribution, and then Mac signs us up with Wizard's Attic, which is this consolidated company that puts you into distribution. Suddenly we had a business. So the next, like we get back from Gen Con, a week or so, recover, Mac's doing his law stuff, Davis is doing archaeology stuff, and Mac's like, we gotta start producing books now.
Yeah.
You know, adventures or whatever the D20 market.
That's right. I remember that.
We need something. And of course, I'm at that moment in time, I'm still on my PhD. I don't quit that until 2002, 3, something like that. But so we start batting these ideas around. And then he says, well, you know what you could do is you can go to Gary Gygax and see if we can publish some Gary Gygax. And I was like, what? Are you?
Yeah. Who am I?
Did someone hit you with a bottle or something? Because no man.
He's been drinking.
I talked to him at the show. He's not really doing much right now. He's working on his LA stuff. They're playing all this data on Gary Gygax.
Yeah.
I said, all right, shit, I'll do it. So
what do you got to lose? So
I sent Gary a nice email. He emailed me back within like 2 hours. It's nuts. That's when I first learned that Gary did not he's not like me and Davis. You can email Davis and I, and it might be 11 years before we get back to you. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Take a while. But Gary, I mean, he just was on top of that shit all the time. And he responds, and I'm like, what the hell? So we get on the phone like 2 days later. We're negotiating contracts. Now it takes a good month or so. Mac and Gail go into the negotiations. So we start publishing Gary Gygax, blah, blah, blah. By 2001, we release our first Gygax stuff. And then we're just now working with Gary Gygax. And the relationship solidifies very quickly. We're working very well together. We have a few arguments, of course, but that's what people do. we're going up there for Gen Con and then Game Fest. We would go up there. So we were going up at least once or twice a year to hang out with Gary, do some drinking and eating. We all, especially Davis and myself and Gary, love to talk history, archaeology, and eat, drink, and smoke. So it was like this this nice, gathering of knuckleheads. So fast forward a couple of years, we're pretty deep into the Gygaxian fantasy worlds. We've done the Hall of Many Pains. We've done a bunch of other stuff, the Hermit. And Gary's really kind of ramping it up. Now, I believe Rob Kuntz is the one that kind of encouraged him to do Castle Zagyg. I had mentioned it to him a few times. I'm sure Davis did. But he just didn't want to write adventures. He just wasn't into writing adventures at the moment. He was working on the city of Yigsburg. That's what he really wanted to focus on. Yep. And so we get to talking about it, and I'm like, Gary, we'd be love to publish it. He goes, that is, man, is that a great book? I love it. It's like 02, 03. I said, we'd love to publish it, probably 02. And he's like, well, I think we need to look for a bigger publisher than Troller Games. This is a really big project. Do you mind if I shop it around? And that was a very nice thing of Gary to do. He didn't have to do that. There was no exclusive contract with Troller Games. He could do whatever he wanted. And I was like, Gary, wherever you can do the most business and earn yourself a living, you go. And he shopped it around, and no one else would pick it up. And they wouldn't pick it up because expectations didn't meet. Right, it's all kinds of stuff. I don't want to put any whatever in anyone's mouth, but they didn't pick it up. And later, 6, 7, 8 months later, we're back on the phone, and he said, "Hey, does Trollwood still interested?" And at this point, we know the glut's coming, and Davis and Mac are already working on Castles and Crusades. We know all this is kind of unraveling, and I told Gary, I'd love to. Whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And he said, he goes, well, it needs a game system that's not D20. And I remember very well the conversation. I said, well, Gary, what you need to do then is write up a 2-page rule set on your own game. We OGL it. Because now I knew Mac had put into my head that you can do an OGL RPG and put it in the back of the book, and you go. And we'll publish it like that, no big deal. And he goes, no, I don't want to do that because it'll kill your after sales once you release. It's like a 90-day market on most adventures and whatnot. Okay. It's going to kill it after your 90 days if you don't have a very, very active game. That was one of Gary's philosophies on RPGs. He's 100% right. So I mentioned to him, I said, well, Davis and Mac are doing a game. And he goes, well, what kind of game is it going to be like? I said, well, it's going to be sort of like AD&D because I'm an old AD&D hound. And he goes, all right, well, let's publish it with Castles and Crusades. And that's where he enters the picture, and he gets approval of the rules. We're not going to make a rule that Gary didn't approve of.
No, okay.
Made it a little bit more difficult.
I didn't know that. That's news. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so a lot of people think he helped design CNC. He did not, but he did have
final cut.
Okay, we're not doing it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And there's not a single thing that Davis and Mac created that Gary rejected. Not a single thing.
Wow, that's awesome.
I did leave.
That's a high compliment, dude.
Yeah, really no sarcasm. Hold on, Davis. I'll let you dive in. But I did go to the farm. Before Davis was living there, and I visited for the weekend. Everything was calm on Friday, and when I came back Saturday, there was an email from Gary. I still have it somewhere. Pulling the licenses. You're not doing Castle Zagyg. We're done with that. Not all of it, but just that. I was like, what the hell happened?
Oh, yeah.
Someone on the message boards had told Gary that the trolls were doing X. And then when I got it, it took me like hours to figure out what had infuriated. But it had nothing to do with Davis and Mac's rules. It was just something he thought because someone said, "Oh, they're doing this," and he's like, "Oh, and so it took me. Monday was mostly emailing back and no, Gary, that's not a thing. That's not in the game, And he's like, "Oh, fine, then we're back on." It was really fucking funny, but that was the only upset from the rule side of it.
Yeah, no, I remember that whole series of emails because Gary and I didn't email back and forth as constantly as you did, and ours were almost like in-person conversations. We never talked about games, rules, anything, nothing. It was always history, politics, whatever. We would just sit there and yank each other's chain.
That's awesome.
But in the emails back and forth, because I would send them, because you know how bad I am about emails anyway. I would send him rules, and he would usually it was like, yeah, that's fine, that's work. But his best comments were like, well, if you continue with that line of reasoning or whatever, this is where you're going to end up. So you may want to look at it again. He would never say, like, fix it this way, fix it that way. He would say, this is where you end up with that type of rule. So look at it, make sure you want to do it. But it led me down this rabbit hole. Once I figured out exactly where the game needed to go, not my desire where it needed to go, but where the game needed to go.
Yes.
Which is a completely different, ball game. I had to start doing research, which drug me into this like massive amount of research into gaming history, because I knew that Gary had played games ever since he was a wee lad or whenever he started playing those board games. And his knowledge of games goes back to the late 1800s. Okay.
Wow.
With like Little Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Gary had this intuitive, he could intuit rules. Okay. I mean, it was just basic. It was there. He understood. And so when he would make a rule, I had to trace back certain rules. And there's one in particular that I'll never say which one. There's a chart and there's sets of rules that Gary wrote. And I was like, I know where that came from. I know exactly where that came from. I know the logic of that chart and how that chart extrapolates out over 100 years, right? And it's the backbone of everything, right?
That's awesome.
And it's just this little chart.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that's the backbone of the entire system. And then I could build it off that basic system. And that's why I think it worked through. But geez, that took a lot of research.
Yeah, you got into Gary's head. I mean, you had to be a little mini Gary, Yeah,
I had to get back. Yeah, no, and try to figure out how. But it's all for him. It was just intuition, right? I don't know if he actually play tested much of anything. He would just he knew games so well that.
That makes sense. I mean, it totally makes sense. When this game Shadow Guard came out, I'm sure you heard of it. We decided we wouldn't. My buddies and I, we're never going to go on and do a live stream. Eric Tankar, Matt Jackson, Tim, because we're 50s and Gen X, and we say things that Agile Monk said don't say, right? So we'll get us in trouble. So we're never going to do a live stream and be ourselves playing a game like we play games. So.
Oh my God!
I mean, could
you imagine if we took a home game and you did it? It would just be one long string of beep.
That's what I'm saying. So we're we're not going to do it. We're never going to do it. When Shadow Dark came out, one guy, Matt Jackson, says, "Hey, we gotta try this." I said, "Matt, why don't we?" I think I had a couple in me. I said, "Well, why don't we do this live stream? Why don't we just break our rule?" And everybody's like, do we want to? I'm like, we'll just try to contain ourselves. And so we did, and we got in there, and somebody complained. This goes back to what you're saying about the years experience. Somebody complained that because Matt instantly started changing rules around. We hadn't even run this thing yet. And he's like, I don't like that. I'll take this. I'll change that. And a Shadow Dark super fan or whatever is in a chat saying, you should run it as written first. How dare you change the rules, blah, blah, blah. And I said, buddy, and I added up the years. I said, there's about 300 years of role-playing experience on this screen. We can change rules if we want. That's what I mean. I'm not Gary, but I get it.
No. I think most of us who have gamed for a long time, a lot of those rules changes, especially. So you were talking earlier about how you have your home rules, right?
Yeah.
Before the stream or whatever, and I'm like, we've been gaming long enough that we can actually do this without completely wrecking a game.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because it becomes into second nature. It's like a second nature.
I can tell you a story. I remember it's one of my favorite David stories because this is going to be 76, I guess, or something. Because we didn't have a table. We were still on the floor on that shag carpet.
That carpet where you lose the D4 and you find it later in the
I remember we were sitting there and I was still playing Kane and had a Vorpal blade, and Davis had a Tyrannosaurus Rex coming at me, and I rolled a natural 20 and I decapitated him.
Oh my God.
And I remember his face because he's just staring, because he was huge into dinosaurs in those days, and he's just staring at that paper. And at that point, the game changed for us. Davis began changing rules.
It's like, this shit isn't going to work. But it also leads to so there's this. So you get into that mindset, right? And you forget that you're playing a game.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this has to be more realistic, more realistic, more realistic,
Right.
more granular, more granular, more granular. And next thing you know, I mean, I don't think you remember this. So it was so bad in those, let's say in my experimental game things. I would have graph paper and I'd write out the segments like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 100. I had the rounds broken up into segments.
Oh my God.
And you had to decide what you did in each segment.
I don't remember that. I'm sure you were managing that.
Yes, I was sitting there like,
Oh my God.
it was like a little like what do they call the guys who do all the numbers and stuff like that? So
Actuarial, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
an actuary, like sitting there with like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And then everyone's like, yeah, whatever.
You know, it's funny when you go back to the old stuff. My brother, he told me the name of his PC that I killed horribly, and I'm like, I got the old character sheets. I'm gonna go back, and I looked in my red box where I kept the old sheets. I couldn't find it, and I remembered it was Isle of Dread, so it had to be in the blue box. And so I found his old character. Here he is. That character still lives. And I found an old like, I must have wrote this setup. First of all, how the hell my handwriting looked so neat back then? But I wrote this whole, and I called it plot, the setup and everything. And I'm looking through it, and just I get to the end of the plot, I have in quotes by the Duke who's giving him the mission. And one last thing, I must have been watching Columbo. Is all I can figure. One more thing. Get out here. It's like, Jesus, man. You published everything with Gary. You got Zagyg out. He passed. And now we'll skip the bad parts and get to the good parts, guys, because you are now publishing the new edition. You have one Kickstarter that's already out there, correct? And now we have this one. Let me hide the chat here. This is the latest, greatest. This is the Castle Zagyg, part 2, right? So the part 1 had Citadel, the Ruins, and the Cellars, okay? And that's even more than the box set that I have, right, guys?
Yeah.
That's even more. I think I just have the Citadel and like the first level of the cellar, I believe.
Yeah. You're gonna have what you have already is volumes 1 and 2 in a different format. Volume 3 is all the new material, and 4 and 5 is all the new material.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so you guys are killing it. I guess it's right now. I didn't realize this. It's Mega Dungeon month over there. So you guys are in Mega Dungeon month, and you got almost $450,000, 2,183 backers of all the Mega Dungeons, all of Mega Dungeon month. You guys are about a third of 1.7 million raised. So you guys are crushing it here. Yeah, you guys are crushing it. This is really something else. I mean, you have 30 project filled, 12,000 followers. So yeah, you guys are killing. And Chuck says, and you're going to give him more soon because this ends what? Ends on May 1st. So we got like 5 days, guys, to get this. I've been dropping the links in the chat since we started here. Let me do the old copy paste. I think I got it here. I'll paste it again. There you go. So everybody click on that link and check it out. So this is I backed it, as you can see, at $140 level. I'm in. I am totally in here, guys. Engage like Gary did. So what? Give us the elevator speech, guys. What is this? What is it about? Tell me why I buy it.
I'll do two sides of this. One, we'll just do the Gary side first. This is Gary Gygax's his magnum opus. Really, it's the Castle Zagyg material, which is Castle Greyhawk, which is where he basically, what Luke Gygax calls the laboratory for Dungeons and Dragons. When back in the 70s, late 60s, and early 70s, when he was creating D&D, he was testing it in these dungeons of Castle Greyhawk, now called Castle Zagyg for legal reasons. So this becomes for Gary the centerpiece for what becomes the hobby that we are all playing, from Castles and Crusades to Dungeon Crawl Classics and Shadowdark and all of that stuff. Castle Zagyg is where it began. That was the fulcrum. That was the laboratory. For Gary, he's got a giant binder called the Bible, just filled with about 100 maps, I guess, somewhere around in there, hand drawn, each one of them, with all the notes that are in these levels and all this other stuff. So it's this monstrous amount of material that Gary wrote and played and designed back in the 1970s and into the 1980s. Now, it's all notes, right? The maps are good, but the notes are just scribbled notes like we all do as DMs. So it's not publishable content. What he wanted when we began working on this in 2003, what he really wanted was this stuff to be presented like a fully fleshed out, ecologically sound, dungeon with depths and all kinds of what ecosystems would be here and there and all of that stuff. And there's logic behind not all of it because it's the dungeons of a mad archmage, but so that there's some reality, some realism, like Davis was alluding to earlier, in the dungeons themselves.
Yes.
So on the Gary side, this is his magnum opus. This is what, and he gave us a manifest. It's a good 25 pages of what goes in this thing. We got Mike Stewart and Jeremy Farkas working on this thing to bring Gary's vision to life. Now, for those of you who aren't Gary fans or don't really care what Gary wanted or didn't want, and that's a perfectly legitimate approach to your gaming and your hobby, this is a setting of biblical proportions. It begins in Volume 1 with the city of Yigsburg, which is this exceedingly detailed city. Yigsburg sits in the Eastmark, which is this, I think it's 56 miles across, 34 miles tall. I think that's 17,000 square miles or something like that, of just very detailed terrain. In that terrain sits the castle. Now, the castle is Volume 2. The castle is where the mad archmage Zagyg lived. Had all the walls. This is huge, kind of probably 16th century castle, more so than a medieval thing.
It's like early Renaissance,
early. He loved the Renaissance, so early Renaissance castle. And the first, and that's Volume 2, and Volume 3 is the actual dungeons. Beneath that castle is like the mad mage's chambers of torture or whatever. It's 27 levels, 17 official levels, and then 10 sub levels. So it's 27 levels underneath this castle. That'll be Volumes 3, 4, and 5. So when you enter this mess, it is an insane amount of material to game in. The city is ridiculously detailed.
It is. If you're looking at Yigsburg, right? So Volume 1 is the Citadel. Is this book Yigsburg and all? Is that all the little supplements for it too?
No, that's not your supplements. There's actually 20.
I got this. Like I got one of these back
in
the
wow,
day.
Look at that. Excellent. There's 24 of those.
Yeah. It was insane.
Absolutely insane amount of material for this setting, and basically someone was telling me
I don't even have those.
You don't have very few people. Here's the sad thing, guys. I was at Complete Strategist again back in the broke days, and I saw they had a ton of these, and I'm like, I don't have the money now. I'll just buy it later. Boom, gone. Right? Can't get them anymore. And I'm like, they'll always be there. They'll always be there, right? No, they're not always going to be there.
That's always a thing. You got to know when to pull.
Yeah.
So it is just this. You could start a first level character in Yigsburg. You could adventure in Yigsburg for a while. Then you could adventure in the Eastmark for a while. Matt Golden ran us back in the early days when they had just come out. He was going to run us through the castle. We played for about a year and a half, Davis, because he ran it.
Yeah.
We never got actually physically to the castle. We
never did.
We did a bunch of stuff in the Eastmark, and then we were headed to the castle. I think when we had to stop for whatever reason.
Yeah. So you know how I said earlier that I ran that 2-year campaign in a 100-mile area. They never moved more than 100 miles. That's how Yigsburg is set up too. Gary can create with the turn of a sentence an adventure that can last months. Okay. Wow. Yep. No one else in the industry that I have ever seen has be able to concoct a sentence that can conjure up an adventure like Gary has.
That's awesome.
So Yigsburg, to me, when I first read Yigsburg or the write-ups for Yigsburg, I was like, holy, this is just, or the setting around it actually is what is really taken with. Yeah. Not the city, but the Eastmark. I was like, holy crap, there's a ton of information in here. Yeah. It's so much to work with.
Yeah, I have the copy. I think I had the PDF only, and I printed it up of Rob Kuhn's Dark Chateau. Love that. I thought that was a fantastic adventure. I played that a couple different times for a couple different groups, and they all enjoyed it. Is Rob involved in this at all? Or
he is not. I can't get into too much of the legal stuff, but there's legal sides of things that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yep, I get it. And Jeff Claney and helping out a little bit, anything, advising?
So he did. We worked with Jeff. Jeff and I are good friends. We've known each other forever and a day.
Yeah.
Jeff started working for Gary when he was doing those supplements that you just held up.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff wrote 3 of them, I want to say, but he wrote them so well, and Gary was so impressed that Gary hired Jeff to be his Castle Zagyg kind of overseer.
Yeah.
He was looking at it all. So once they dove into actually writing it, he hired Jeff to do the writing of the Castle and other works. When the licenses were pulled, I think he was working on the second level. They had just gotten the notes.
Yeah.
So Jeff helped us quite a bit in kind of bringing this back. But he told me, I guess about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, I was asking him some questions. He said, "Look, man, I didn't work on anything beyond the first level except a little bit on the second level. Peter and I we had just started mapping out level 2 when Gary died. So he's, he's been a huge amount of help, but we've kind of the only one left really that could have, I think, Rob probably could have helped, but that's got its own, it's whatever. And Ernie Gygax could have helped, but he passed last year.
Okay.
And the only other person who worked extensively with Gary was Peter with the maps.
Peter Bradley worked on
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I talked to Jeff a little bit about it at various bars at various conventions. He gave me some of this stuff, how awesome it was to just to play with him and work with him and sit on his porch and drink with him and this and that. Oh, question for you guys. You mentioned drinking with Gary. I always wanted to raise a drink on his birthday or kind of thing. What did he drink? What was
Slipowitz? Is that what it's called?
What is it?
Slipowitz? Is that
Slipowitz? It's a Serbian whiskey.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Wait, Jeremy's got it. Slivovitz. Every year, Davis and I would stop at a liquor store to pick up Gary some Slivovitz, whatever. It is some. I was an Evan Williams drinker, and Evan Williams is pretty stout.
Yeah,
Slivovitz it's stout. It's stout.
All right. King Kothar says it's a strong plum brandy. All right.
Yeah. So it's not a whiskey. So I'm not even a whiskey drinker.
No, it's I put it up there with a schnapps type thing, and
okay.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Now I know. I got to find Slipowitz somewhere to raise a glass on his birthday. Yeah. All right. Good.
I will tell you a funny story about Gary and drinking. So, my wife's a physician, and at one point he had some health issues. He didn't like doctors, so he agreed to come down here to Little Rock so my wife could, do the work.
Yeah.
And about 6 months later, Gary and I are talking on the phone, and I can't remember what he said. He said, "Well, I did what Kathy said. I'm drinking a bottle of wine a day." And I said, "Okay, wow. That sounds okay." So that night, Kat and I are eating dinner, and I said, "Well, hey, Gary, I caught up with Gary on his health today, and he's drinking the bottle of wine like you said today." And she went, "What? I did not tell him to drink a bottle of wine a day." I told him to have a drink of wine, a glass of wine or 2 a day.
Oh, God. Holy crap.
It was so funny. He found that very amusing.
God. And AONR, fun seeing me with the shows. I am having more fun than you can imagine. This has been one of the most fun interviews, just hanging out and bullshitting. This is awesome. I figured it'd be like this because you guys are just regular normal people, and this is, for me, what you get is what you see here. This is it. So I love this. This is fun. Now you guys have a special reveal tonight because if you look at this image here, we have 5 covers. We have the Citadel, the Ruins, the Cellars, the Dungeons, and the Caverns. But the Caverns are deceptively in black and white. And Steve was gracious enough to say you have the honor and privilege of doing the big reveal for the black and white cover of the Caverns. Are we ready to reveal it?
I didn't even get to see it.
Oh, there you go.
Davis has not even seen this yet.
Really? All right. We got it going. We got it going here.
This is the final cover for Volume 5.
Volume 5.
I sent it over last night. I think its counter is on level 16 or 15. I can't remember.
And I have to say, I love Jason's covers for this. These are really, really good. I love all of these covers.
They're real. They just suck you in. I am not an art guy. I'm one of those guys art, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't need it in the game. It doesn't really, of course, chainmail bikinis all day, every day, right? But other than that, I mean, what the hell, right? But these covers, they suck you in. And the covers of your new Castles and Crusades books, is it the same guy, same artist?
Yes, Jason.
Yeah, that's it. I love this guy. I love his art. So I'll do the countdown. There's no drum roll. I don't know how to do it. There probably is, but I'm too stupid technologically to
I wouldn't know how to do it either.
So. Yeah, so we'll do the here. There's the drum roll. My finger's on the counter here, and we will do a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a boom. There it is, guys.
Holy shit, that's a good. Right? Oh, sorry, there, Agile Monk. Sorry, apologize.
It's worthy of an holy shit. This is amazing. This is amazing, guys. Look at the detail in this is incredible, right? Insane. I mean, you got one head chopped off by this fighter saying "kiss my butt," right? Look at the runes on the sword, the blood dripping off of the blade, right? Hydra looks like, obviously, right? This chick's like, oh god. Right, you know we missed this dwarf up here, right? Just hacking away a little cleave into the neck of this one. This is awesome. And underground
there in the middle. I absolutely love that eagle in the middle.
Oh, I didn't even see that. You're right.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's like a druid's pet or something, right? Imagine she's probably the druid or something.
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's on all of them. Jason. It takes him about 3 to 4 weeks to do each one of these.
That's amazing.
It is absolutely, the claws on that Hydra are just through the roof.
It's just insane. The detail level. This is not AI, guys. I mean, you know, I am not, like I said, I'm not a big art guy, but kiss my butt with AI art. This is not AI. This you can tell. This is soul. There's a heart and soul in this.
We've been working with Jason since 1999, 2000.
He was the first artist that Mac was running the company in those days. Mac hired him back in 1999.
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
we've seen his art. The crazy thing about Jason too is, I mean, I've always loved his art. Is that for like if you look in the Bear Cult books, especially, you know, Steve's like, you know, I'll just do the write up, and he's like, I need some art pieces, and I'm like, I don't want to do whatever, and he's like, well, just give me some descriptions of art you want on these pages.
Yeah.
And I would literally give Jason one sentence, maybe 20 words, okay, and said, here's three guys at a butcher shop, you know, and he comes back with this brilliant like image. Dude, he could pump those black and whites in a day. I mean, he would just be knocking the black and whites out. But it's cool to see his art evolve over the years. But it still has all the hallmarks of Jason way back in 1999.
Yeah, but the closer you zoom in, like I didn't even notice these arrows plucking.
Oh wow, look at that! Holy shit!
Yeah. I didn't even notice, and there's the archer over here shooting them. It's like the closer you zoom in, the more detail you're getting, like the little bone here, you know. And not only is it, you can see this like the spinal part of the bone in there, you know. That's insane.
And he did one of the favorite pictures we've ever published back in 2000. Now his style, like his form, I should say, has gotten so much better. The style is the same.
Yeah, style's the same.
Everything's just gotten better over the years. But he did one for Davis's Bear Cult, I think. No, Felsenthal, I think. And we've used it 1,000 times. It's a guy leaning against a wall, goblins all around him, arrows in his back. It is so freaking awesome because it captures that energy, and that's what he's done here. And if you look to the left and the right, I asked him to put, because Gary was a huge fan of various fungi. So you see mushrooms to the left and right.
There we go. Fungi among guy.
That is funny. When you zoom in, you can really see his stylistically how he. I mean, it's
the detail. Look at the level of detail under the fungi. You know. Holy crap.
Yeah, no, and you can go to his older works too and see. I'm trying to find his website. What is his?
Myriad Studios. You got to there's some other Myriad Studios, so you got to kind of type in Jason Walton Myriad Studios, and it'll come up.
Jason Walton, Myriad Studios.
Myriad. So MYRIAD, I think.
All right, excellent. God, I mean, just look at the blood flying. You don't notice that either. Just the blood flying off it. You know, I love it because it's not fantastic, weird 4th edition D&D armor and weapons. It's like it looks real and it looks serious. You know, this is a thing that's happening. It's like it reminds me of like the best of the 2nd edition era art. Honestly, it really does. You know,
the druid here with her shield spelled up, you know, deflecting the flames.
Oh, crap! I didn't even catch that. You're right.
It's just
holy shit. I can't swear, but yeah, look at that. I didn't even catch that. The more you look, the more detail you're getting out of this.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've always loved about Jason's covers, even the early ones, when you just keep looking at it. The guy's got a pouch. It's just freaking.
Oh, there's the picture he drew for me. It's on his webpage under the black and whites that he drew way back in like 2002?
You'd have to send a link. I'm not sure it's picture you're talking about, but
yeah, where's the
how do I send y'all a link?
let's see. You can paste it in the chat, in the private chat here. I'll type something in here, and then I can put it out. I just typed something in the private chat in the bottom left. So if you
I didn't know there was a chat.
Yeah. Oh, me and Steve have been shit talking to you the whole time, Davis. So
you killed my characters.
All right, I'll post that in the. I'll post that over here.
Oh yeah, right. And see this detail. Like I know that there were some people saying. Okay, some people were saying like, "Oh, no one puts that much detail." You can go back to his work from the early 2000s, and his detail is absolutely.
Let me share the screen here with you.
So which one is it, Davis? Is it?
Yeah, which one are we looking
if you
at
go
here?
Go to the black and white gallery, right?
Yeah.
And the second row down, second image. It's going to be 3 images on it. There's the one on the top right he did in 2003, 2002.
Okay.
I think that'd have been about that 030. Yeah, somewhere around in there. That would have been D20 because that was
such detail.
Yeah.
No, that's Barricol.
That's Barricol. Yeah. I don't know what that other one to the left is. That one's really cool.
It's steampunky in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can see even 20 years ago, his art had that level of detail in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and white. You can pull off that detail in black and white with the clarity that he does. It's insane. You know, that is really insane. Holy crap. Yeah, this is well done, guys. Well done. So this is going to be on the cover of the 5th book. So the first book, so real quick then, the first book is going to be Zagyg the hardcover plus some. Is that what it's going to be, Steve?
So the way we've done this, because each of these books, the first one comes with 3 big oversized maps. The second volume comes with 5, the third 7, the fourth 9, and the 5th 10. So because we have these giant maps and there's no real logical way to put them, we wanted to do hardcover. That's what we were determined to do, hardcover.
Okay.
There's no real logical way to put 9 maps in a hardcover book. You just can't. So we struggled with, we would do a map pack, but then we're thinking the retailers have a lot of trouble on the map pack that goes blah, blah, blah. And then we were like, you know what? This is Gary Gygax. This is Castle Zagyg. We're going all in. Each of those sets there will be a box set. In that box will be a hardcover book and all the maps that go with that thing. So when we lay the boxes out, so each of these covers, like the Hydra cover that we just looked at, it's a full-size cover. A good chunk of it will be on the back of the book that you won't be able to do as easily, but on the box you will. It'll be right there with almost none of it.
Gotcha.
We're going to do, Chuck's pushing hard for some posters. We're going to have to do 5 posters of these things, I think. They just look too good.
These would be
you can't not do a poster with these. You have to do a poster with these.
Yeah, these would be great posters.
Yeah. Holy hell yeah.
I don't know how much posters.
This would have been on my wall when I was 14. Those pictures would have been up right next to the chainmail bikini chick, right on the and next to the I believe sign up there.
Farrah Fawcett and I believe.
I want to believe, yes. Farrah Fawcett, you just dated yourself, Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's true.
The very first poster I ever had, Farrah Fawcett from the what was that newspaper type rag magazine? Anyway,
David, I got it. It's so when we set up in the mailroom here, my wife went and bought that poster, that Farrah Fawcett poster from the 70s, and had it framed, and or Dakota framed it, but she hung it in the mailroom. So it was really
nice. Hey, you got to keep the mailroom guys motivated,
That's right.
Keep them going, keep them moving. Make sure they know they're not dead yet. Nice. So you got 5 days. You're closing in on Jesus. This is huge. It's closing in on 450,000, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Almost there. 447. I don't know if I refresh or does it refresh automatically. 447-815. All right, we got you a couple $100. So since we started talking about it.
That's it. And at 450, we released The Teeth of Arkash Nor, which is an adventure that Gary had scripted everything out for, drawn all the maps.
Nice.
And Bill Sylvie has come on board. Well, he actually wrote it back in the day. when the licenses were pulled. I think he had done the rough. I think he was done with it because I've got it on my desk.
Okay.
And this is Zagyg adjacent. There's portals in Castle Zagyg that take you to other realms, and one of those is Barkash Nor. So we're very close to having yet another book released on this thing. It has been absolutely fantastic.
Nice, nice. And what is this Zagyg Miscellany? Is that what's going into there? That's the first one that's got unlocked, right?
That one we have. So Gary sent a bunch of notes to Davis, a bunch of notes to Jeff Talanian, a bunch of notes to Peter Bradley, and some to me. Now I was running TLG at the time, so he was really working with Davis, Peter, and Jeff, and I was getting more of the finished products. But what I did once after the licenses were pulled, I gathered everybody's digital files together and just piled them in one giant thing, and buried it in the warehouse because we couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So in going through this stuff, we keep just finding files that Gary had written. Like one of them is the depths of each level, so that's one of them. One of them is strange and weird noises that you will hear in Castle Zagyg. That's another one.
That's cool.
And the one we have, the one that's part of that miscellaneous that's already been unlocked, is like 13, 15 pages of tables of just stuff you can find in a room down in the dungeon. So it's just these thoughts Gary had. He'd write them up, and as I sit, I'm still sifting through it because it's so much material.
So here's sort of a sad thing that I don't even know how to. So I go through computers. And
That's the understatement of the year.
So my brother has the hard drives from. Do you still have them?
Yes, Mark the Shark, you can. Yes, Davis, I have your hard drives in a desk drawer in there.
I remember one day I got mad. It was in the middle of the afternoon. I don't know what set me off, but I got mad and I grabbed my computer, the whole thing, and walked out into the street in front of the house and just threw it on the ground. And I was like, I'm done with this. No computer. Then I thought better of it.
Yeah.
A little bit later, and like brought it to my brother. Was like, "Can you fix it?" He still has a hard drive, and I don't know if have you ever even tried to get into any of those hard drives?
Wilson got into some of them. I've kept all of my hard drives and all of yours. Mine, I've gone through about 4 computers in 30 years, and you've gone through about 12 or 13.
A lot of Hulk smash going on over there.
I think the funniest thing, and this is going to mortify everyone out there, but so I go to Davis's house. This is 2010. I don't know. I go to Davis's house and knock on the door. No one's there, so I just go in because he's my brother and we've known each other forever. And then I go into the backyard and I can hear him messing around in his shed. And as I'm crossing the yard, it's raining, not hard, but it's just a nice, rain. And there's 3, those U.S. Postal those bins that they put mail in.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 of those bins sitting in the yard, and I don't care. Davis is always doing weird shit. I don't care. But I'm walking by it, and I just happen to look, and one of them has CD-ROMs in it, and one says Castle Zagyg on the CD-ROM. And I was like, what the hell is this? So I had to go through. He didn't even know I was there. I'm going through all of his shit, gathering all these CD-ROMs, and so it's after the floppy. It's between floppy and CD-ROM, zip drive or something?
Yeah, zip drive, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Still got one of these things, right? Something like that?
No. It's like a thick floppy, like a really thick floppy drive.
Oh, okay.
Real thick. Someone out there is going to know what
the
hell I'm talking about. So I gathered all those, just all kinds of stuff, and I took 2 of the bins. I still got it in there. And rescued it from the certain demise of Davis's rage. I think it's a zip drive Zokar. I think that's what it is.
Omega zip drives. That's what he's saying. Sparky says Omega zip drives.
And I need to get, because I don't have anything to read those. I can read CD-ROMs, but I don't have anything. I need to get online and get something to read that.
Jesus, who knows what the hell's in there?
Because I don't know, CD-ROMs, the information goes away.
Yeah, you have to copy those after.
Yeah, I've copied all the CD-ROMs were all saved, and that's where part of the file issues were. Because I just copied them. I didn't really have time to go through them. I just filed them all up. Thank you.
You got to put that up in the cloud. So it never goes away up in the cloud.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that I did. So every year I would get on January 1st of every year, I'd get a new email address. Make up a brand new email address, right? And just like never go back to the old email address every year. right? So 2001, 2002, 2003, and all the way up to 2013, right? All those years of emails that I sent to anyone or I got emails from, and no matter God knows what information is, because I don't know. And I actually tried to get into some of them, and I was like,
Oh God, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
Yes.
I'm like an OCD completionist.
Oh my God. You guys not even. So here you go. When Mac started, Mac and I made.
Oh wait, no, kid, wait before you go. So OCD completionist. My brother gets irritated at me because he'll like write a module, like here's a module, and I would put in the module, just finish this for me.
It was like, can't finish this. There's at least one book went to print with several can't finish this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm having a heart attack here. I stopped drinking a few months ago in order to help lose weight, and I haven't drank since. You're driving me to drink again, Davis. You're killing me here, buddy. You're killing me.
When we started this shindig, Matt Golden set us up an email account at Aristotle.net. That was the local thing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
my email was steve@Aristotle.net. And then when we got, I guess then he set us up a Yahoo account of Troller Games at yahoo.com. But then like in 2001, Mac bought the domain name and got us emails, right? So I set up troll@troller.com, and I have used troll@troller.com since like 2002 or whatever year that
Yeah.
Davis has a Davis@troller.com. That's always been his email, and he will not use it.
Oh my God.
I've had Davis at Troller for like how many years? 20 years?
2 decades probably. I don't know.
Every once in a while, Chuck will get into my email account.
Delete it all and move on.
Delete everything and move on.
Jesus Christ. I wish there was something better in this cup now. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. No offense to Dr. Pepper, but it ain't cutting them up.
I wonder if those were Yahoo emails. Maybe
I eventually, there was some weirdness with Yahoo like many years ago. So I cleaned all those emails out and deleted that account. So that trollergames@yahoo.com was officially deleted.
All right.
That much I know.
So there's mystery stuff by Gary that we'll never know. We'll never find it. God. Jesus. God.
You know, it kind of to bring everyone down, it kind of a weird thing. I kept all my emails with Gary over the years that were done through the Troller stuff. Now that stuff that Troller Games, some of that got lost, but for some reason he died in March of 2008, right? So for some reason, I don't know why, January, February, March emails to Gary, I lost them all. They didn't back up or something. So the last emails of our there's a couple, but not much. Kind of sad.
Yeah. Jesus.
Okay, so here's the. Oh God damn it,
Davis, you're gonna make everyone just want to drink more. Yeah.
So, like, this is what I would say. I would start. Okay, so let's just say it's 2013. January 1st. I would start like blah 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 2013 at yahoo.com or at gmail.com. One of the two. I can't even remember now. But then I would use as my recovery email address the previous years,
which you deleted already.
Well, just to let you guys know, this map that I'm going to hold up.
Yeah.
Davis hand drew that. That was one of probably 30 of these maps. And this is the guy who can't keep up with his eBay. So
every single house on that map is numbered.
Yes.
And I had a code for every single house. This is how bad it would get. I would name the people in the house, the children included.
Davis, what is TC? I don't have your code. I just have this one map.
Oh my God!
One of these houses says TC on it.
I can't remember. I'd have to get my code. But that would be a general map. So it would be there would be codes for several types of houses. So you have your farmer, your peasant, your whatever, or something like that. As I was working them up.
You must drive Chuck insane, dude.
Oh yes, he does.
Poor bastard. I know. Yeah.
Davis and myself and Chuck have a private chat in our company chat stuff.
Yeah.
And so Davis won't write like a paragraph of text. He just won't write, "Hey guys, I got an idea. and then he'll just like half phrases for the next 20. You know what I mean? So Davis Laredo will go, "Hey guys," and then Chuck will almost immediately respond and goes, "Oh, what, Lord of Chaos?"
Oh, poor bastard. You're killing him. You don't even know it. You're killing him. He's worked so hard to get this all set up. Now explains what he said. Was we were like, I was looking for pictures. I want to do like a collage of the brothers and this and that over the years. And I said, yeah, I got this one. I got this one. He goes, and he sent me some more. He goes, yeah, this one, I don't want paraphrasing, but he says like, yeah, Davis looks kind of put together in this one. All right. That explains it. Oh, dude, you're like the mad scientist, man. But you made the game. You know what I mean? And you work with Gary. You did all this shit, and you got into Gary's head. That's freaking incredible.
So many of the ideas that propelled Troll Lord Games forward come out of Davis's head. I mean, the print shop alone has turned.
It sounds like it, yeah. You're the guy. You know,
yeah.
you're the man behind the screen.
Absolutely no capacity to follow it through. What am I? So I started this engineering boats, which isn't supposed to be. I'm on my 4.3 right now. I just keep deleting it. I'm starting over. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And then I just keep going back into it. But anyway, which I should be done here shortly.
Hey, I'll tell you a cool story because I know it's getting late in the evening. And I don't know how long you're going, but we can keep going. I don't care. But so I just checked to see what pictures Chuck used, and in the pictures on the Troll Lord Twitter page is one of me and Davis sitting together. Now that's probably of Davis's weird life. That's the weirdest moment ever. Because I don't know if you can put it up on screen.
I do have that. Yep. Okay. Let me slide that over there.
The way
there
that
you go.
Now,
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm coming back from a convention in Madison, and I'm flying from Madison.
There you go.
I go to O'Hare. I can't remember if I drove to O'Hare. I don't know, but I ended up in O'Hare. And Davis is traveling too. And I just called him, or I guess he called me or whatever to catch up. How did the convention go? And we're talking for a few minutes, and there's a lot of background noise. And I can't remember which one of us said, but it's like, do you remember that? It's like, where are you? And Davis is like, I'm at the security line at the airport. I said, really? Where am I? What security line are you in? He goes, oh, O'Hare. I said, what airport? And like, we're like 80 people apart.
And the crazy thing is, we hadn't talked in like 30 days. I've been out of the country for 30 days.
Yeah, he was in Thailand for like a month. And he just got back. And I just, by some fluke, none of that was planned. And that's us. We went and sat because we were on different flights to go. You were going to Springfield, I think? I don't know.
That's insane.
I can't remember. Yeah, Springfield, I think.
That picture's absolutely awesome.
Jesus. Hey guys, I when I do these sort of interviews with, creators and publishers and this and that, I try to end with a couple of questions, like a rapid fire, and I figured it might be a good time. And you can elaborate or disagree. Disagree is probably more spice, but feel free to do whatever you want. But let's see. Let me get back to the chat on the stream part here. Make this a little bit bigger for us there. There we go. All right. So here's some questions. I try to do this because at least everybody gets the same questions. All right. So, favorite appendix and book or author?
So I'll admit I never looked at the appendix.
Oh, Harrison.
I don't know really what's on it. Jeremy actually gave me this long list of stuff. I've read a good chunk of it, and I will say this because I just finished the book yesterday. I don't know what I did with it, but the Carnelian Cube, which I think, Jeremy, is that one on there? The Carnelian Cube, I read it. Man, was that a weird book? That was a weird.
Kim Kotar is saying that. Stay Carnelian Cube. So yeah, that must be Jeremy.
Yeah, yes, that's Kim Kotar. It's weird.
All right, Davis, you got one, or
a book from Appendix N?
Yeah. What was your favorite one for Gary's Appendix N back in the day that you read?
It's the Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard's on there. The Conan books. Yes. I would say Conan the Cimmerian is probably my favorite book. It's the number 2 in the Del Rey series.
Yep. All right. Okay. All right. That's cool. Next one.
Frost Giant's Daughter has to be my favorite story. One of my favorite stories.
Yeah. It's a man on a mission. You got to get the hot chick. Can't beat that, right? All right. Favorite D&D related movie or show?
Oh, that's interesting. D&D movie or show?
TV show, yeah.
I can't ever remember.
D&D related, Excalibur, Monty
Or
Python.
Legends, but Legend with Tom Cruise. That's going to be.
Oh yeah, yours is yeah. I can see that.
Okay.
D&D related.
Could be
Wow.
Conan, could be anything that's cool. That inspired
Pan's Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, all right.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Favorite, can't use your own in this one. Favorite adventure module of all time.
T1.
Yeah.
Neat. All right. Okay.
It's not for me. It's not even close. There's nothing else that comes close.
Did you guys play Return to the Keep on the Borderlands? Ever look at that one? The 25th anniversary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like?
I didn't play it. I got it on the shelf. Joe sent me one.
Yeah.
No, we played it back in the day, but yeah. The one I haven't even looked at the new one.
All right. So next question for this one again. Can't use your own favorite RPG system. Not Castles and Crusades.
Gamma World.
Ooh, whoa, man!
I've only played like 5, so this is gonna be harder for Davis.
Wow, that's a. If I had to pick a game, okay, if I weren't allowed to play Castles and Crusades ever again.
Yep. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Warhammer Fantasy, I think.
Edition?
I figured you were going to go with
First edition. Well, that's the tie because with Rollmaster, assuming I wanted to play with other people, there's only like 12 people on the planet who play Rollmaster.
Yes. That's a hard one. What you need up here for Rollmaster? I mean, forget about it.
Because the thing is, like, I love Rollmaster, right? But not everyone like really gets into Rollmaster. I mean, there's a lot of freaking rules.
Yes.
It's whatever. You know what it is. Rollmaster. Warhammer's easier that way, and it's a little bit more bloody and straight up deadly.
All right. I thought you both say AD&D. I had to say. I figured that would be what the call was. All right.
AD&D is a great game, but Gamma World for me just left. We didn't play it much. Davis.
Merp was better. Yeah.
Merp
played what?
Gamma World.
That was hard. Merps was a hard one. I had a kid brain when I tried Merps, and I still couldn't grok the goddamn game. Yeah.
Next year at GaryCon, for those of you who play Rollmaster, I see a couple of people play Rolls. And the other day when we were online, on stream, whatever, someone said they ran Rollmaster. If you're at GaryCon and want to run a Rollmaster game, I would love to sit in that Rollmaster game. Now, just be aware, I have not touched it in 30 years. I haven't even looked really at. I occasionally go through it, so it all have to be like come back to me. But I would love to play that game.
It'll be like a cult gathering at GaryCon.
We're like special hats and stuff. Fingerless gloves. Yeah, right.
Jesus. All right. Favorite RPG system you want to run but can't. You want to DM it, but you can't for whatever the hell reason. What's on your list? If there's not one, that's not one.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, it's okay. So here's one that I would that I have not run.
Going for
nor have I. Yeah, I thought I had it over here. I haven't finished reading the rules. They've been around. It's the Conan one.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I can't. Where's that damn book?
I don't really know. I mean, that's an interesting question that I want to run, but I can't run.
Yeah.
But I can't. Okay, I can't run it because I haven't finished the rules, nor do I have anyone to.
All right.
I have, of course, attempted to read the rules, and I got a little bit I got too aggressive one night, and the book started to fall apart.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, those books had
You got one, Steve?
Man, I'd probably have to go with I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I may have to plead the fifth on that one.
All right. Okay.
AD&D probably would be it, and I don't run it now. We're just all gone Castles and Crusades.
Yeah, yeah.
But AD&D was, I mean, that was my lifeblood. Davis played gajillions of games. Once I just played AD&D once.
Yeah. I was pretty much the same. For a fat guy, I'm a narrow geek. You know, I just D&D. I didn't do the comics. Yeah. I didn't. You know, I just couldn't afford it for the most part. But yeah, I did the D&D thing my whole life. I'll try a couple things here and there, but that's pretty much it.
That's how I'll try it. But I'm really like, can we?
Yeah, all reliable here. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So here's another game. I don't know. Is Zweihander, which I haven't. I haven't even. I haven't even reached it yet, but
okay. All right.
I don't have time to read all of it.
All right.
Favorite game designer other than Gary or Dave?
Game designer other than Gary
or Dave? Favorite one. That's it.
I don't know if this is game design. I think she does. Jacques Janelle.
Yes. Yeah. I would count that. The adventure designer is there at least. Yeah. I
think her designs were. Anyway, they changed the whole scope of it, especially RPGs, computer games. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with, because I don't play that many different RPGs. I just don't know. Game design experience. I'm going to go with Aldo Giazzi. With the second runner-up is Jim Ward, but Aldo Giazzi, before he started Impressions Advertising and Marketing, he ran a company called Wingnut Games, and he did 2 games through Wingnut. One was called Fart, the Dispersing, and the other one was called Battle Cattle.
Okay, so I want to do Battle Cattle is the greatest. It is the funnest little game that I've played.
Battle Cattle.
Yes.
All right.
The cattle fight each other, they have guns and stuff like that, or whatever.
When I first, and I think you were there, Davis, when we met Aldo in 2001 at VisionCon in Missouri, and then we leave. We're sitting around. He's got a booth. We got a booth. Blah blah blah. We go out because he's one of the special guests because he did this game called Battle Cattle, and we walk into the hall, and there's like 30 or 40 people in there, and he's got to receive his orange or something, and everyone in the room started mooing. And I thought, okay, this is
badass. That's great.
But he's given us carte blanche. We can recreate the game.
It's all good 2 days ago. So
I think we should do it. The biggest problem is going to be the miniatures because he had miniatures for it too.
Miniatures house with machine guns. What?
Yep. Cannons, mortars, all kinds of shit.
Oh my god.
Dude, it is. You would not believe how great an idea. And anyway, whatever.
It sounds insane. Yeah. I remember there was a Doom 2 mod that they put out, and instead of rocket, you're shooting chickens, and instead of the boomer, cock-a-doodle-doo. And so we're all, of course, choosing the rocket launcher, running around with cock-a-doodle-doo, and every time the chicken exploded, feathers were everywhere. I really found myself laughing while I was playing this goddamn Doom 2 game. Yeah.
I love Doom 2.
It was the best stress reliever ever was Doom 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! All right, favorite D&D monster. Favorite D&D monster of all time.
Oh, Gibbering Mouther. I love the Gibbering Mouther. Absolutely love that monster.
All right.
Oh man,
getting you. I'm stumping you here.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know. The Nagas probably.
All right.
The
big things. Yeah.
And Davis, so you got to understand that question's hard for Davis because all of his monsters, he plays them to live, not necessarily to win, but they don't want to die. So they'll fight until death is on the line, and then there's an exit strategy.
You got a plan. Get out of jail free. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite memory as a player? Playing D&D.
Oh, it's a long story. I can give you the abbreviated version.
Yeah.
So Davis is running me in a game, and because it was just he and I back in the 70s, I would have my character, and I do a little adventuring, and then I'd start hiring NPCs. We use the DMG to get hirelings and henchmen and whatnot. So I had one henchman my character's name was Corthane. I can't remember the henchman's name. That pisses me off because I would have known it a week ago. So it's just mind-blowing. And then I had like 6 hirelings. And we're in this caravan of, there was a druid, a dwarf, a cleric, the whole thing. And this caravan, and I was like 3rd level, and my henchman was 2nd level. And these orcs started attacking us. And they attacked, there's this wedge of them in front, and they're scattering orcs to the left and to the right, and a few behind us. 2 of us are on horses, a couple are on foot, one's on a mule. So the whole kind of party is stretched out. So I decide to take my character and the henchman, and we're going to cut our way through the main group in the front in hopes that the rest of the party can pursue behind. So I charge through. I roll really good. I break all the way through the orc army. My guys are following, but my henchman, his horse goes down. Ooh. So I turn back around and I charge back through. And I got the henchman out. You remember the encounter, Davis?
Yeah.
I got the henchman out, and as I'm getting out, I get pulled off my horse. So then the henchman has to come back in, and at this point, the other characters are getting scattered, and it's just this epic hour-long battle of going. We kept getting in and out of the combat. I could have escaped probably twice. The henchman could have escaped, but all of us ended up dying, except I think like the halfling or a couple of the hirelings that survived.
Yeah.
But I think we all died. I'm pretty sure we all died in that.
Yeah, I think all of you died in that one.
But it was
a long
fight. It was such an epic battle.
That's awesome.
It was very, very cool. So for me, that hands down my favorite player moment.
We had a couple of those back in the day. Again, we were war gamers, so I always like to bring in the thing, and you really liked it too when there were lots of troops around.
Oh yeah. And they were scattered so like the cleric kills one and it's 3 rounds before another one gets to him, that type of thing. It was badass.
What do you got, Davis? What's your favorite player memory? Sounds like you DM'd the most of the time. But...
He mostly DM'd in those.
Yeah. Any favorite player memories?
I think there's a couple of funny ones. I think one that when I was playing Braylick, and there's like, I don't know.
He's already laughing. What is this?
There's so many funny memories with Braylick where I fuck everything. Where I just sort of just like go off the rails a little bit, whatever. But anyway, remember that time that when the whole party is surrounded by hundreds of undead or something, or orcs or something like that, and we were pretty much like gonna die.
Yeah.
And I called down Flame Strike on us.
Yeah. You were always. It was orcs, but you were fighting some kind of summon.
Oh no! And I killed Chris's familiar.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Everyone knows when Davis is about to pass, get the fuck out of the way because he's going to kill everybody around him.
I'm going down and taking you all with me.
He did, and with that character, he joined it. His first character died, and his second character was Braylick. They were about 3rd level, and they were desperately in need of healing. So Davis said, "I'll make a cleric." So he made a cleric. But then he sewed his mouth shut.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes. God, so he couldn't cast spells for till he was 3rd level. So everyone was very angry with Davis.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. And when they found him, so I was like, well, I have to bring him into the game. So I started him out completely, absolutely naked, laying on that rock. Remember?
Yep.
That was. And they were like, "You want to go on an adventure?" Not doing much else. That was funny. I forgot about the whole sewing my mouth shut stuff.
I wouldn't mind doing that too, but
Yeah.
Favorite memory as a DM, guys.
Oh, okay. These are really hard, but I think this, like, for my brother, this is a funny one. He was playing Cain the Godless.
Okay.
And he's sort of a random. It sort of like influenced the way I DM too, because I could never guess what he was going to do. So then I would build real detailed things around him so that I know what was happening in each area, which turned into the whole micromanaging every. But anyway, and there was one time his character went on a robbing spree, and not like breaking into people's house. He would beat them up in alleys and stuff like that.
I remember it.
Right. Remember that one guy you You didn't kill him. You didn't kill him. You weren't like murdering people. You were just like knocking them out or doing whatever, punching, take their stuff. And that one guy came back at you like days later or weeks later. He had recovered and was well. And then he came back, you trying to kill you. At that moment, it's like he was so mad that from that point on, everything he encountered, he killed. If he had to die. This never again was Subdual. Subdual was not in the equation. It was a death fest afterwards. That was funny.
Murder hobo was the way through. Steven, what's your best memory as a DM?
I got to tell you, I started DMing in '80, and I've been DMing a lot. So there's scores of fantastic, I mean, through the roof memories. But probably the one, and so what I'm trying to do is go with what popped into my head first.
Yeah.
Ask that question. I was running. It'll be like 1986 or something. There's about 9 or 10 people at the table. Todd Gray, Mac Golden, all these guys were at the table. I can't really remember what the adventure was or what the hell they were playing, but their party encounters this huge troop of orcs in this kind of castle that's got an exit and no way to get out on the sides. And they all run. Mac's like, we're gonna fight these guys, so they fight. And for the next hour, and it was brutal. And then I try to go heavy on the descriptions. You get your finger cut off, or the globe of your eye is one of my big ones. Hit your side of the head, the globe of your eye explodes. All of this kind of shit. It's just blood and just so much bone and muscle and weaponry and death. And one character after another, and there's piles of orcs everywhere. Probably 80 dead orcs at this point. And we were down.
Like a Tarantino movie. Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just mayhem. And as each character goes down, that guy's still standing. The player's still standing there watching. Are we going to survive? Because if someone survives, they can bandage us up. That bullshit. And Gary Griffin was the last guy alive. And I remember he was standing there. There's orcs everywhere. There's like 3 orcs left. He cuts one down. Then he gets stabbed. He's got like 2 hit points. He's almost dead. He rolls a natural 20 and he kills those last 2 orcs. And when he killed them, and he's the last guy with like 1 or 2 hit points left, the whole table just leaped into the air. Just everyone was soaked because everyone gets to live, right? Gary can all up. But it was one of those moments that you were talking earlier about the critical hit. It's where that nat 20 comes in.
Yes.
And, turns everything around. Or the nat 1 and then, turns it the other way.
Yeah.
So that's
my top. So I'll give you each one guy. Let's say the Mount Rushmore of RPGs. You got Gary, you got Dave. Each of you pick another one.
Oh, wow.
Who else takes the place?
Yeah, I'm probably have to go.
Curious if we come up with the same one. That's why I figured I'd throw you each one.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Jim Ward on that because he made a mountain of material. He's a great writer. He was a fast writer. He was easy, insanely easy to work with. And Metamorphosis Alpha for me is one of the coolest. The Starship Warden is one of the coolest settings for me, bar none. I mean, it's just there's just something about that starship in space, that's just very, very cool.
Okay.
And then he went on to do like Dragon Ball Z. He did the card game for Dragon Ball Z. He did all kinds of stuff. Okay. So Jim Ward, I'm going to have to tip head. Jim was a good friend of mine too. So.
All right. Good deal. What do you got, Davis? What are you thinking?
Me.
Nice. That's awesome.
All in, baby, all in.
You gotta do it.
But I have leprosy or something like that.
Nice.
I don't know. It would be that would be a really hard, because I'm sitting here trying to think designers who took the game in role playing in a different direction.
Yeah.
That's really hard. I don't know. I can't think of off the top of my head.
No worries. So again, guys, this is Lore Games, the Bros, and we have Castle Zagyg is on. All right, so check it out, guys. This is the second kick. Oh, guys, when is the first one gonna? I know you did it already. The Kickstarter's done. I backed that too. When is the fulfillment estimated on each of these? Do you know?
Probably early summer. We're into a zone. We've got 2 more levels to write on book 3 we're also the printer that we use is out of Missouri, and they do yearbooks. And between April, May, and June, they're backed up with yearbooks. So we'll start sending these very, very soon to the printers, and then they'll just put them in queue. So that so my guess is they'll start printing in mid-June, and they'll come out.
Excellent. I bought so much stuff from you guys, especially over COVID. It's funny when you don't hit the bars, how much money you save. It's like, I'm not going out, I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, Christ, where does money come from all of a sudden? It's like, oh, I'm not hitting it. And so I got all this extra cash. So and everybody was doing Kickstarters to keep alive. And you probably pay your at least a mortgage payment off of what I back.
But we do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Anytime, man. I actually, Steve, I played in one of your games. I backed one of them at a level where I got to play in a game with you.
Oh, sweet.
You probably don't remember, but I was in that game. And I remember messaging Chuck and saying, "Hey, man, when's this going to happen?" He goes, "I've got to set it up, blah, blah." We finally got it set up. And I got so excited to do it that I'm like, I got to calm down here. So I had an edible and a few too many whiskeys before the game. I don't remember much of the game, but I do remember it was a great time.
That's all that counts, man.
That's all that matters. It was fantastic. The edible was good. The whiskey was good. The beer was good. So it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So, and I remember you described trees and the nature and the surroundings so well. I'm like, I got to do this better because I want to play with good DMs to learn. You know what I mean? If I go to a con, I'm going to learn.
Thank you for that, but I'm a little obsessed with trees.
He read too much of the Silmarillion.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll do it.
It's Tarzan. I read so much. It's all in the jungle, Tarzan.
Yeah. That'll do it. And so we are closing in on $450,000, guys. And that is a new stretch goal. The Teeth of Barkash Noor, right?
Yep.
And you get a new, and that's Bill Sylvie is writing that based on Gary's actual notes. And oh, stretch goals. You got to survive. I survived. I died in Castle Zagyg. Nice, very nice. Very cool. Extra maps, patches, and we did the new reveal here too, guys. This is the cover of the 5th book. You guys were awesome enough to let me show it for the first time live for everybody. So there was the awesome cover of the new book. So these guys have been around for a long damn time. They're not going anywhere. They've been publishing stuff forever. And I try to end it with like one question, guys, for you guys, because there's probably other people out there thinking about doing the dream. Everybody wants to publish a module, an adventure, a zine, something. You know what I mean? And you guys made a life out of it, a career out of it. You're one of the few people who are actually still doing it. So if you can it's probably the same question in a way. If you could give yourself advice 25, 30 years ago when you first started, or if you could give new people who want to publish something advice about starting up and publishing their own thing, what would you say is the best advice you could give them?
Dave, I would say take it seriously. I think treat it like a job. I think, and I say this often to people at panels and when they ask that question.
Yeah,
I didn't. When I first started working for TLG, and especially when I quit my PhD, I'd clock in at about 9, wearing my pajamas, doing the whole thing, work from the desk, whatever. And I just wasn't that productive. And somewhere around 03 or 04, I got up at 7 in the morning. I ate breakfast. I dressed. I put my boots on. I go up to work, and I still, to this day, I put my boots on, and I treat it like a business. I treat it like it's an actual job, and you'll find out you're far more productive. You're far more capable of getting things done, and you get focused, and then you don't get sidetracked on watching, whatever, The Walking Dead on TV. Yeah, right. I'm going to take a break. 4 hours later, you're for 3 episodes through or something. So don't treat it like a hobby. And that's one of the things I've heard since I started this. So many people say you can't make money in RPGs. It's just a hobby. That's completely false, 100% false. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that. Treat it like a job. If you treat it like a job, you'll have a better chance to succeed. Okay,
excellent. Nobody said that before. Most people come up with the advice they give me is just do it. Don't be scared. Jump in. That's actually really, really good advice. Yeah, treat it like a serious thing, not just.
I mean, if you're going to go to work 8 hours a day for whatever company, you can do it for yourself.
Yeah, so, that makes sense. What do you say, Davis? What's your advice for folks?
I think that when creating don't get me wrong. I would go with like you have to have. If you don't have both sides of these things, it's not going to work. It's a job,
Yeah.
but it's a creative process as well.
Okay.
You have a vision of what you want, right? I've always subscribed to the idea: if you build it, they will come. If they won't, right? You know, it's from that whatever. Follow your vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your particular take on that particular thing. Follow it through, and just that's where you're going to be the happiest and most satisfied. Because if you try to make something for someone else that they like, you know, that's one thing. But if you make it for something that, if you make something that you like, that you're excited about, that really gets your, you know, juices flowing, other people are going to attract you. But ultimately, you're going to be more, you're going to be happier doing something like that. And the product will turn out better for that.
I was talking to my nephew about that today.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. I was telling him he's graduating high school, and I said, "What do you got to find something you're passionate about, because AI is going to take so many jobs. You need to find something you could make a living off of if you can, and something you care about and are passionate about, because it's the only thing that's going to keep you getting up in the morning and doing it. You know."
Yeah. Hopefully, he gets passionate about being an electrician, because there's these AI data centers are hiring up electricians like madness.
No, I'll end this on a positive note on the AI and all of this job disaster that they say is coming, and it probably is. But traditionally,
it's a changeover. That's all it is.
Start doing their own small local businesses. Start finding things to do that look, and you can make a living that way. It's harder. It's not easy, but that's what's going. I suspect that's what's going to come.
Yeah. Well, I get it. And their art, guys, not AI. This is amazing art, amazing books, amazing writing. Yeah, just definitely back to Kickstarter. The links all throughout this thing. And anybody who's like following my channel, there's links below to their products, their channel, their website. Drop them onto their channel, share it around. You know what I mean? And just get in there, guys, and enjoy the experience. I got an entire shelf of Castle of Crusade stuff over there I dip into and just read. It's one of the things, you grab something random and you read it, you know? It's just, you can't beat that. We don't do that enough anymore. Remember the joy when we were kids of just grabbing this thing and reading it all the time, you know?
You read whatever and whatever is going to bring the truth, David.
Absolutely. Yep.
I've got a book around here called The Skeptic's Bible. I'm going to have to give it to you.
Right there, baby. I want to believe.
Just so you know, I don't believe it if I can't touch it, feel it, or see it with my eyes. And I don't trust my eyes hardly at all.
Oh God. We have an intervention, I think, Steve.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. 100%.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. I said, if they could do 2 hours, maybe that'd be great. And we're into 2:22, which is a nice, happy number there. So I appreciate you guys joining me. This has been fantastic. You've been on my bucket list of people I want to talk to at a convention, have a drink with, chill out with. And this is I figure for now is the best we could do. Are you guys going to be anywhere? Like, are you going to North Texas? You don't do that one, do you?
No, we haven't done it forever. Probably the next one is Gary Con, I think.
Gary Con? All right.
I'm trying to convince my brother to leave for Kubla Khan. Let's go to Kubla Khan in a few weeks.
That's a real thing, Kubla Khan?
That's in May. That's in like 2 weeks, I think.
But
you know, Aldo owns that convention now, David. So.
Yeah, no, I want to find a reason to give Aldo more money.
There you go.
Sounds like you were in Connecticut, David. David, if we're talking about that same game store, if you're ever up here, man, let me know. Send me a message. We'll grab a drink, we'll yak, we'll hang out.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll be a good time. Instead, Steve, too, if you get out, you know. Sounds like you're more landlocked, and David's out there digging, archaeology stuff.
Folk in Maine, so we need to get up there and see the.
Where are you coming? In May?
In Maine, no, we got Ken in Maine, and she's got my niece, her daughter. Would that be a second niece? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that. Whatever that is.
Anytime you're passing through this area, let me know. I'll make the drive. I'll meet you up. Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this so much. You have no idea. This has been great. I so appreciate it, guys. And
thanks for having us on. Very appreciative.
Anytime you want to come and chill out, you know, in person, virtual, whatever. We're good, man. We're definitely good, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. And this has been steady. We've had about 70 or 80 across all platforms because Restream shows every platform and how many people are on. We've had 70 or 80 people the entire time.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it is late on a Sunday night. People just hanging out, and we're gonna be even more tomorrow. So, guys, subscribe to the channels, Troll Lord Games, on YouTube and Twitch, and they're everywhere. Buy their product. I've been dropping the links in here for Castle Zagyg, the next chapters, the final 2 box sets. So pick that up, guys. And thanks again for the trolls. Thanks, Chuck, for setting this all up. I appreciate it, Chuck. And I know Grace is out there doing a lot of back end work, so I appreciate that. And we will talk to you.